In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. Yeah. This is Blood Politics. The only podcast where we don't talk about politics. We be about politics. And our mission statement is to empower, educate, and encourage everyone to speak out against fascism. Speak out against injustice and fight for freedom and equality for everyone. This is Blood Politics, and we ain't stopping till they put us in the grave. We ain't gonna be quiet, and we ain't gonna be scared, and we ain't gonna go along with the crowd. This is Blood Politics.
No, just one of these days, I'd like to have a day where I don't have a show and the world doesn't erupt into chaos, right? Where there just isn't something that throws the world into further chaos, further speculation, conspiracy theories. Just one day in this country without the bullshit, without the incompetence, without the fucking chaos. It'd be great. But we can't have that. We can't have nice things. It's unfortunate, but we'll be discussing it all. Before we dive into the obvious craziness, the obvious insanity that we'll be covering today as it pertains to, obviously, the White House Correspondents' dinner shooting. I got all of the angles, all of the information, everything that I could possibly pull up that we could go through so we could go through it together. I'd like to hear your 2 cents, obviously, in the chat. Get a lively debate going in there. Obviously, throughout the show, I'll be giving you my 2 cents and what I think about the matter. But like I said, before we dive into all that, what do you say we say hi to the chat, bring you guys in for a little screen time because you guys deserve it, keeping this show going, keeping us running here. A little screen time never hurt anybody. What's going on, guys? First and foremost, to the mods, love you. Thank you so much for everything that you do, keeping that chat safe, keeping me running, the support, all of it. You guys are the best, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Substack. Am I forgetting one? If I am, I'm sorry, but make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed already, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. I really don't. I mean, we're on our way to 20,000. You don't want to be after 20,000, right? You want to say you got there before we hit that explosive growth that we're heading towards, right? That would be fantastic. So appreciate you guys. What's going on? Twiggy. What's up, Gamer? What's up, Vicky? What's up, Sabrina? What's up, Roxanne? What's up, Mozart? How are you guys doing? What's up, Laurie, Addis? Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. What's up, Namaste? How are you? What's up, Bry Guy? What's up, everybody? Appreciate you for being here. What's up, Carl? What's up, Ceres, Flipper? Like I said, make sure you hit your respective buttons on the respective platforms that you're watching on. Think about contributing if you can, if you're in the financial position to do so, where you can lose $1 or $2 and not have it affect your everyday life. You don't have to worry about where that $1 or $2 went. Then, there's a Venmo up in the corner. You can, join the backbone of the community in 2 different ways, multiple different ways, I should say, but 2 mainstays. You can sign up for a membership just underneath me. YouTube membership is far less than a gallon of gas is going to cost you, especially if you're driving a diesel truck. You can also head over and check out patreon.com/Boston Brian. 3 great tiers on there. But obviously the quickest, most direct way is probably going to be the Venmo. Nobody gets to take a cut, goes directly to the place that you want it to get to. And I just really want to thank everybody that continuously sends in, whether it's $1 or $2 or more. Thank you guys so much for supporting independent opposition resistance media here, which is what we are. We don't sell you anything as far as, outside sources, no sponsors, no backers, nothing like that. No revenue on ads that is going to be interrupting the live stream for you. So we try to do it the right way. I'm not going to be selling you any green juice or any mattresses that I say is going to change my life or has changed my life. Meanwhile, I got it last night for free, and the guys are going to say, hey, use my discount code. But not how we do things here. So if you can contribute in some way, form, fashion to help grow the show, help this thing keep going, it's very much appreciated. So love you guys. Thank you so much to the chat. Best chat on earth. What's up, Wes? What's up, DPD? What's going on, Tina? What's up, Leron? What's up, Karen? Yeah, get that conversation going. What's up, Jennifer? I see you over there on Twitch. I see you over there. You can't hide from me. You guys can't hide from me. I'm telling you, you try. but you can't. All right. What do you say we dive into a little bit of the nonsense, the craziness, the conspiracy theories? We can't even do a fucking dinner right in this country. Okay. We can't even do a dinner right in this country. And again, whether this is an incompetent security failure or a staged event, let me know what you guys think in the chat. Again, I really don't fault people. Like I said, I'll give you my 2 cents during the show. I'll let you guys know what I think, what I feel, observing what I observed, seeing what we're going to see together here. Not to mention, not to skip around, but we also have some Lego videos, probably the quickest drop in Lego history after last night's event, after last night's situation that they went through. I think it was about 37 seconds after that, Iran had already put out a new Lego video as it pertains to the White House Correspondents' dinner. I shit you not. So we'll be diving into, I think there's 1 or 2 of them that I have pulled up, a couple clips, couple articles, ton of different angles from what took place. And yeah, we'll just try to keep the conversation going. Obviously, keep it, keep it nice and amenable in there in the chat. But obviously, you guys are free to put your views out there, your opinions. And what do you say we just dive into it? First and foremost, can I just say, this is a little bit off topic and probably not going to be the most well-liked take, but a big fuck you to anybody that was at that fucking event last night, right? Just, can we start off there? Big fuck you to everybody that showed up. All the lawsuits, basically every journalist or every reporter or anybody that talks to Donald Trump is going to get some sort of disrespect in return. All of the fucking threats that he's posed towards the media, all of the demeaning and denigrating he's done to different people in the media space. Like, why are we supporting this again? Like, why are we normalizing this? Like, what's Caitlin Collins doing? Has he not been disrespectful enough to Caitlin Collins, right? Has he not said, like, mean enough things, disrespectful enough things, sent enough death threats these people's way for them to just, show up and they were ready to clap like fucking seals themselves. And, I know with the shit that took place, probably not going to be the most liked take, but I don't give a fuck. I really don't. So, you watch for a reason. That's because I speak my mind and I don't hold things back. So first and foremost, a big fuck you to everybody that did show up to that last night. I just want to make that, kind of well known. But yeah, we will be covering obviously all of the angles, the coverage of everything that took place last night. Obviously, Donald Trump's statements afterwards that is, kind of lending towards people's conspiracy theories as to what took place, why it took place, what it was hoping to affect or change. And like I said, I'll hold off on giving my 2 cents for now. But what do you say we just dive into a little bit of the craziness here? My name's Brian. This is Blunt Politics. My apologies if I didn't introduce myself right off the bat. For those of you that are just joining us here for the first time, I really do appreciate you for giving me the opportunity. If you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing after a little bit, please feel free. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the thumbs down. Tell me I suck in the comments. You'll be surprised, but that helps too. It does. It helps too. So, even if you don't like what you're hearing, if you don't like what you're seeing, tell me what you feel. Tell me how you feel. All right there, Chief. All right, let's see. Let's throw this on the screen here. I'm just going to kind of go through everything. Like I said, I want to keep everybody up to speed. You guys will know as much as I know, and hopefully by the end of this, I will know as much as you know. But obviously, they're reporting shots fired as gunman charged towards ballroom at White House Correspondents' dinner. Trump unharmed. But again, the speculations are flying as far as this is concerned. I think the one thing that we can agree upon here, first and foremost, that this is, probably one of the more blatant security failures. I know, Todd Blanche and everybody is trying to make this out to be like some security fucking like victory, like they come out and did everything correctly. I don't think when somebody gets that close with a gun to people in the White House, people in the government, people, like the vice president, head of the FBI, the president of the United States, probably going to be looked at as a failure in that regard. But yeah, just to kind of fill everybody in, obviously, a man armed with guns and knives stormed the lobby outside of the White House Correspondents Association dinner attended by President Trump on Saturday night, charging towards the ballroom in a chaotic encounter with Secret Service agents and dived under tables as the sound of shots being fired. So obviously, you guys, I'm probably going to assume are aware at least up to that much. As it were, but there's a ton of different angles, there's a ton of different views, there's a ton of different takes that we're going to go through as it pertains to what's going on. We'll also be diving into the details of Cole Allen himself. So obviously we're going to try to find out just as much as we possibly can. So what do you say we just dive through this? As we know, this was the original kind of post by Trump that he had put out there. Just to kind of, like I said, we're going to go through all the angles. They're in no real particular order because there's so much to dive into, so much to look at. So again, bear with me as we just kind of, bop through all of the nonsense, all of the bullshit that is stemming from this. But this is, the blurry Vaseline covered fucking, camera angle that we got here from this guy charging into the area, charging into the lobby, past the metal detectors, past all of the sleeping security guards, apparently, that, were looking every which way besides where they were supposed to be facing, and looking down the hallway to make sure they could see what was coming before it ran past them 715 miles an hour. But I digress. But let's just take a look at this again. One clip here. This was somehow released by the president, put on Truth Social, and then obviously made its way and filtered through, through the. So this is going to replay. I'm just going to have to replay for a second. Here we go. This is obviously somebody recording the recording, which is I'm probably, going to assume is why it's lending to a little bit of the poor quality. But if you look up here in this angle, in case you haven't seen this yet, if you look up here where the mouse is, if you look up in the left-hand corner of the screen, you will see the guy come flying in. And then you can see again the what I would call a late reaction, considering what we're going to hear from some of the witnesses. Apparently, this guy had not only time to put this together, but obviously run down the hall, get past these people. So let's just play this from here, and you guys can, like I said, make your own assessments after you see all the angles, after you hear all the, there's even some MAGA folks that we'll be looking at that aren't very happy with the way things went down. So let's see if we just dive into the rest of this clip here.
It looks like he checked it twice.
So keep watching up here.
Lieutenant Hudson, you monitoring this area?
He's coming right here.
Shall I post it as soon as he passed the map?
18, go for
So the guy pulls a fucking Usain Bolt, comes in, allegedly fires one shot, hits one of the security members in his vest, as far as was reported in that regard. Luckily, as far as all of the reporting is concerned, from what I've seen, nobody was injured, nobody was killed. Luckily, the one officer here that was allegedly hit in his vest was uninjured. From what we're seeing from all the different angles that we'll take a look at afterwards here, even the suspect himself, again, Cole Allen, was seemingly unarmed, unharmed, uninjured, as you'll see in kind of the upcoming angles. But you see, we can take a look at some of these other angles here. This is probably one of the more prominent ones, one of the first ones that made its way around social media. Let's see here. It doesn't really matter who it's posted by in this regard. But again, this is kind of the face-on, head-on, where you can actually hear the shots in the background. So again, just to kind of keep everybody up to speed, everybody on the same page here, we're just going to go through all of this, and then everybody can kind of make their own assessments. Tell me what you guys think. Keep the chat going. I understand I say keep the chat going, and I can't always keep an eye on the chat, but I'm sure you guys are having a great discussion in there. Let's see here. I'll just play this for a second again. This is minute 33. This is right when this was kicking off outside of this room in the lobby. Apparently, you can hear the gunshots. You can see kind of people's delayed reaction. And again, this is just one of the head-on angles, and we'll take a look at, people's cell phone angles, different angles from different cameras throughout the room. Let's see if we can take a look at this one here. I know it may be tough for you guys to hear, especially on this shit site known as Twitter, because the sound quality is definitely lacking, if I do put it mildly to say so myself. But, you can hear just at the beginning here in the first, I want to say probably 7 seconds of this clip. You can hear the banging in the background. You can hear the pops. You can hear the shots in the background. And then you can see the kind of delayed reaction. Obviously, people in the back of the room that were closer to the event, kind of recognizing what was going on well before the people, that were engaged in conversation in the middle of the room. That's when everybody started noticing. You can hear the plates start crashing, and it goes on from there. So this is kind of obviously skipped ahead a little bit to where people are hiding underneath the tables.
You tell us about what just happened.
Hey guys, we were just eating dinner and
Secret Service, and everyone started yelling. There were shots fired. We heard it.
And again, I don't know who Ben Hominy is or what her take is on that, but not really the important part. But we're just trying to, like I said, just dive through all the angles, all of the stuff here. This is posted by Jake Bro. Let me throw this one on the screen. This is another one that has been making its rounds, where J.D. Vance basically gets ripped out of his seat. A lot of people are pointing out that J.D. Vance seemingly was the more important of the people to get out of here because he was pretty much removed from the stage prior to Donald Trump, the president of the United States. As you'll see here, you can see J.D. Vance pretty much ripped out of his seat, and then it pans right over to, I'm assuming, the Secret Service agent that is behind Donald Trump, and he's kind of unclear as what the next move is going to be, whereas, again, the Secret Service of J.D. Vance knew exactly what they wanted to do, and that was to get him the fuck out of there. So let's see if this is, again, 30-second clip of this angle here of what was taking place on the stage as people were kind of figuring out what was taking place in the lobby. You can see JD's already gone, right? They pretty much, they stopped treating him like the vice president right as the situation, right as the emergency kicks in, right as the protocol has to come in. It's pretty much, it's their ball game now. So it's not like, hey, Mr. Nice Guy, hey, Mr. Vice President, sir, can you please get up? No, it's fucking, you move now. Grab him by the shoulders, you're the fuck out of here, we're going to cover you and all that shit. But if you pan over, once the camera pans over to the Secret Service agent behind Trump, this guy, he's like, I don't know. Like, I see JD getting rushed out. Is that what I do with the president? Like, I don't know. You just think that would be the guy that you would have like the most people or the most like, most like you'd want the most to get the fuck out of that position. I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating here, right? But why put logic and reasoning into this where there is no logic or reasoning being had at this point in time? But it goes on. And now the SWAT. Donald Trump gets up. Donald Trump's immediately down. They scrape his fat ass off the floor. He's ushered out. Crawling on the ground and shit. What's crazy is you can see the amount of security here, right? Like, you can see that you got people in fucking fatigues. You got people that look like military members. You got people that look like armed Secret Service. You got people that look like SWAT, right? You got people in plain clothes. You got, like, the whole 9 yards that pops out of the woodwork. Like, where the fuck were these people before this guy got in there with the weapon, right? You know what I mean? Like, and again, we'll dive into that, and I'll give my 2 cents as we dive into. I believe is it the Washington, is it the Post or the LA Times has an article here giving us and detailing a little bit more about Cole Thomas Allen from California. So again, we'll go into some of the details after we cover a little bit more of these angles here, and I'll give you my 2 cents on what I think took place, or anything else along those lines. So this is another one here from posted by Jennifer Jacobs, just another angle from inside of the room video of White House Correspondents Association evacuation via CBS. This is another one. Let me see. I just want to make sure we didn't miss any here. No, we got that one. We got that one. We got this one. All right, let me dive into this. Let's see what we got here. So just to give you further context in the timeline, this is just a different angle from the same action that we just saw. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance has already been ushered off the stage. Donald Trump now is just going to fall on his face on the left side of the screen. And you can see some people in the room like, okay, I'm filming. What the hell is going on? Others are immediately under the fucking table, under the desk, under wherever the hell they can. Some are standing on tables. Some are running around. So clearly a chaotic situation here. Clearly nobody really recognizes yet if there's still, danger to pose to everybody, what's going on, what they should do, where they should go, if they should go anywhere. But this goes on here to detail a little bit more of this situation. You have people climbing on tables. You got people hiding under the tables.
Katie, do you have all your stuff?
I'm fine.
People falling down. You got RFK and his wife. Here's Stephen Miller and his wife. Clearly, they had the decision made to get Stephen Miller and his wife out. I believe that was, I think we'll see from another angle, but I believe that was RFK and his wife heading out of the event. I think you can see Pete Hegseth here in the background, if I'm not mistaken, who we might have another angle of that where he kind of walks around with his cocaine jaw, looking all wired like he wants to get in a fight. Right here. Look at him. Dude, that was another mouth movement. Watch this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's probably tough to pick out in the graininess and how far away he is, but he's still moving his mouth like he just did a bump. Look at this. Watch his jaw. Yep. Watch me turn. Yep. He's tongue in his cheek. He's trying to get some sort of spit. He's got to generate some sort of saliva somewhere because he knows at some point he's going to have to talk to the media. So he's reaching deep down his throat to get any bit of fucking saliva to wet his palate. Yeah, here he goes. This is where I think, look at him. He still can't stop with his mouth. He's still doing it. Still doing it. Look at this guy. Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm sorry. I've been at enough fucking parties, okay? You know, I haven't always been a political commentator. Let's just put it that way. I've been in enough college, high school parties to know what it looks like when somebody's doing the Chief Brody, okay? Which is what we used to call it. You know, the movie Jaws. That way you could kind of, you know, maybe throw it across the room at a buddy there and maybe nobody would pick up on it. You could let them know that, hey, you know, you're swinging out of order there. You know what I mean? Like put that thing back in its fucking cage at some point. But I'm just going to say I've been enough. I've been around enough, been around long enough to know what that is right there. And that's the Don Jr. jaw. And then you can hear in the background there, I think I have one of those clips pulled up too. I think it's Dan Scavino who tries to turn this into another Butler, Pennsylvania. Again, whoever doesn't already suspect that to begin with, he tries to turn that into another one of those moments with the USA chant. And basically everybody in the room tells him to shut the fuck up. Okay. They basically give him a big shut up. We're trying to figure out what's happening, where we're going, shut the fuck up. Okay. You know what I mean? So Jesus Christ. So that's that angle there. And then there's one here. And then we got a couple people speaking on Fox News, or one woman speaking on Fox News that strangely was cut off when she had a little bit of information that she was trying to detail, as far as I believe Caroline Levitt's husband coming up as well. This is the moment where RFK gets rushed out of the White House. Correspondents dinner and completely ignores his wife, Cheryl Hines, running behind him as Republicans Against Trump says on brand. Let's see if we can just dive into this one. Oh, you know what would be great is if I shared it and put it on the screen. That would probably help. Here we go. There's Stephen Miller's wife just went by the screen here. You can see on the stage right here, RFK, with his Secret Service detail, with his security detail. They are already on the stage. Cheryl quite literally hanging on to the coattails of the Secret Service, like, hey, don't forget about me, right? and again, it's probably cold and callous to say, but a lot of the protocol that goes into this probably doesn't bring into account the wife and kids and all that stuff, right? I could be wrong. Let me know if anybody has any information as it pertains to like what the protocol is in these situations, the emergency situations. Like, I think it's kind of like the guy that you're supposed to be protecting is the guy that you're supposed to be protecting, and you're not basically there to worry about anybody else. Like, I'm sure she has her assistants or people or somebody that's, given to her or kind of she can talk to in these situations. But you know what I mean? I'm sure it's the same with the first lady or Stephen Miller's wife to some regard. But again, I'm sure there's people in the chat that have a little bit more knowledge on that matter than me. So please fill me in. I'll go back and check it out after the show. She's at least 4 steps behind at this point, right? Like, she's at the point where she might have to take off the heels to catch up. Steven? Kevin! Another angle of Pete. Fucking Chief Brody jaw Pete. Here's Dana White, who thought it was the fucking best thing since sliced bread, right? He thought this was fucking wicked pisser. He thought, I mean, if he could do this again, Dana White, he'd probably do this again. I don't think I have that stupid clip pulled up, but, you know, he still had a raging hot on about 25 minutes after this when he was speaking to people. He didn't know which way to fucking turn. He was all hyped up as far as that was concerned. So you can see, like, you know, the type of people we're talking about as far as that's concerned. But here's fucking Don Jr. Coke jaw, Pete Hegseth, mid Coke jaw.
We going?
Allegedly.
Let's go to side. Let's not go up the middle. This is crazy.
You can hear the guy in the background side. This is crazy. Oh, there's Fetterman, front row Fetterman, you fucking fat prick. And that's there's Scavino in the background again, trying to do his best Butler, Pennsylvania impression. And then there was this one here. This one is of Kash Patel during it all. Basically looking like more out of place than he's ever been in his entire life. Doesn't know what to do as far as this is concerned. But this was posted by Earth Hippie. Says, there is a shooting and the head of the FBI is just hanging out. Again, doesn't know where to turn. Doesn't know if he should get up, sit down, look left, look right. Both ways at the same time. So here again, this is just a really quick clip. I think it's about 10 seconds long here of Kash Patel during all the chaos. Desperate for some guidance, some security or something. He's like, somebody tell me what to do. Somebody tell me what to do. Do I sit here? Do I get up? Do I not get up? And then there was this angle as well. This is kind of from outside of the lobby, from some of the news cameras that were outside of the lobby, kind of getting everybody running every which way. This is a minute 30 seconds. Let's see if we can get any more details, insight, information out of this angle as well.
Where's it coming from? Where's it coming from? Downstairs, left, downstairs. Where? Where's it coming from? Where's it coming from? What's the crossfire? Look out!
Bro, somebody go.
And I think that's a combination of move, and blue, trying to, alert the other people there that they're on the same side. I'm speculating, of course, so let me know. I'm sure there's some law enforcement experts and people that were affiliated with law enforcement at one time or another, or even currently, that could probably tell me if I'm right or wrong. But sometimes it sounds like they're saying move. And at other points, it sounds like blue, which to me would detail like, same side. But again, let me know if I'm wrong.
Everybody stay down. We got one down.
I mean, you can see the presence here. I mean, look at
what the.
You got. I mean, besides the obvious reaction of the camera guy in this regard, and can't blame him really. You can see National Guard here. You can see regular police that are there, probably Washington police. I'm sure some state police in that regard. Some some local PD and some state police. Like there's National Guard. There's Secret Service people there. There's SWAT there. Like the whole fucking 9 yards seems to be there. Just not doing much in this regard, right? And we'll go on and hear from a few different people talking about kind of the security requirements or lack thereof that are either typically in place at this, or that were definitely not or should have been at place at this specific event this year, considering that we're engaged in a war, considering that we have scientists and really high-profile people disappearing left and right, considering that there's already been allegedly multiple attempts already, taken on Donald Trump's life. You'd think that would be like 1.5 billion layers of security here. You'd think that it would be fucking sealed up so tight you couldn't take a shit. You'd think that every fucking guest, you'd think that everybody staying in the hotels in the surrounding area would have their names run through a fucking check, would have their baggage checked, would have the whole 9 yards gone through. Again, considering that, Donald Trump a lot of the time or many times has come out and said that he suspects or thinks that Iran's trying to take him out. Remember when that was a whole thing, right? So wouldn't you think you'd take like extra precautions, more precautions? Just throwing that out there. I'm just how somebody could get that close with a weapon like that is again, obviously raising questions. And again, I don't really blame people for asking those questions because of the lack of trust, to say the least, that this administration has put out there or given people, the lies that they've told, the propagandizing that they've put to people. You know what I mean? Like there's absolutely no way, that you could give an argument or make me believe that there's a reason to believe anything that's being told to you by the Trump administration, right? You know what I mean? So I have absolutely, no problem, believing or understanding as to why people are outright questioning this as to, maybe its legitimacy or lack thereof, I should say. But let's just see here. There's a couple more seconds of this, and then we'll go into a little bit more of what we know about the shooter.
Oh my God. Stay down, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, stay down. I know that. Where's that? He's inside. He's not inside.
And again, it's just kind of like a weird reaction to me. And again, I'm no professional, right? No security professional, no military professional, but seems like a lot of people are either really hyped up and animated and sprinting around, or again, they're incredibly lackadaisical, just kind of like roaming around, got their guns drawn, but don't really know where to go, what's happening, what to do, who's in charge type of thing. Like, again, if I'm wrong, no problem putting my hand up telling you that I'm wrong. But that's just what I'm getting from here. It's like a different vibe depending on what agency's involved. Like some people know what to do, some people don't know what to do. And I think you can just see through the door there. I don't know if you can see my mouse on the screen, but I think you could just see through the door there. They might have him pinned down on the ground. See the feet on the ground? And again, the only other option, the only other thing that I could think of was possibly the security person that was allegedly hit in his vest. But that's again the only other thing that I could think of. Tough to tell, obviously, from that angle, especially where they closed the door there. We got a few more angles of that, a few more shots from people that were inside the room, some cell phone footage from people inside the room. So we'll be taking a look at a ton more. Let's see if we can just dive into this article here from the Los Angeles Times, just kind of giving us a little bit more details on the shooter here. And again, this can kind of either make or break or go to help or, either confirm or deny your theories as far as this is concerned. So this is what we know about Cole Thomas Allen, Torrance teacher suspected in the White House Correspondents' dinner shooting. And again, like I said, this is the LA Times. A man taken into custody after a gunfire rang out at the Correspondents' dinner on Saturday night was identified by law enforcement sources say as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen of Torrance, California. Law enforcement sources told the FBI that they are examining Allen's electronics, his writings, and spoke to his family and friends since the shooting, seeking to determine a clear motive. Along with his home, agents searched the 10th floor room at the Hilton in Washington, D.C., where he rented a room, and also where the event was taking place. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said the suspect revealed he was targeting members of the Trump administration. Blanche said on Meet the Press that the man traveled from California to Chicago and then on to Washington via train. Blanche told CNN the suspect fired 2 shots before taken down by authorities. He added the suspect, quote, barely got past the perimeter, which is just asinine to say, Blanche said. He was immediately subdued, and yes, he got off a couple shots. Again, not really giving me an idea, painting a picture of an outstanding security detail, like an outstanding perimeter set up there where they were allowed to get this far. It goes on to say here that the scene at the annual event in Washington turned chaotic when a man dashed towards a dining area, as we saw in the footage, and was met with gunfire. One hotel security guard said he observed the individual with a firearm. President Trump was rushed off stage, as we saw. One officer who was wearing a bulletproof vest was shot and was taken to a hospital. Trump told reporters during a press conference that the officer is, quote, doing great. The shotgun and handgun were legally purchased in California. A law enforcement source told The Times. Blanche said that the weapons were purchased, quote, within the last couple of years. The condition of Allen is unknown. Blanche said he was taken to a hospital but was not shot. I don't think he's cooperating with investigators, I think he said. In October 2024, Allen donated $25 to Act Blue, a political action committee that raises funds for Democrats, according to the Federal Election Commission. Again, something that I'm sure you're going to hear by the Republicans, by the right side, throwing that out there as a potential link towards what side of the aisle and motives. Of course, as far as that's concerned, the money was earmarked for Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. It was his only political donation listed on the FEC website in the past decade. So again, $25 chump change, doesn't really give or paint a clear picture as to what political motives really this guy was undertaken or had under his belt. I'm sure that will probably learn more and more as the days go on, probably even as the minutes and the hours go on here. But Allen, who is registered to vote with no party preference, graduated from Caltech in 2017 with a degree in mechanical engineering. While at Caltech, he was a member of the school's Christian Fellowship and the Nerf Club, according to his LinkedIn profile. He was featured in a Caltech graduation announcement posted by the university in 2017 on Facebook, which included a picture of him as an adult wearing a cardigan and a red tie, and a photo of him as a beaming young child holding a stuffed bunny. Allen also earned a master's degree in computer science in Cal State Dominguez Hills in 2025. According to a commencement program, his LinkedIn profile picture shows him sitting in his cap and gown with the caption, quote, pretty sure my master's in CS is done. On his profile, he describes himself as a game developer, an engineer, a scientist, and a teacher. He was very intelligent. Allen was named Teacher of the Month in December 2024 at C2 Education, which specializes in college test preparation, tutoring, and academic advising. A representative for C2 Education was not immediately available for content. Dylan Waikayama, president of the Asian American Civic Trust, and Allen said Allen tutored several high school students who are members of the organization, a Torrance-based nonprofit. Quote, they thought he was very intelligent, proficient in biology, mathematics, and science. They thought he was on the nicer, quieter side. They were completely shocked when I told them that this one all went down. I think all of us in Torrance would be shocked if this is the man who attempted to kill the president of the United States. They said in addition to his part-time work at C2 Education, he also was self-employed, according to his LinkedIn, identifying as an indie game developer. Let's see here. I think they go on to talk about when he actually booked the reservation and stuff there. I could be mistaken if it was this one. Like I said, there was so many of these articles and stuff that I had to pull up. Let's see here. We seem to have another man. No, I think this was more just on his locale, his background and stuff like that. After Allen's arrest, local and federal law enforcement swarmed Torrance neighborhood where he apparently lived with his family. A gaggle of reporters and neighbors loitered in the drizzle around a multi-gabled house on Saturday night as a helicopter hovered ahead. And I think I have a local news report that actually went up and knocked on the guy's door. I don't know if anybody answered the door, but that's just a little bit more background, some more details on the actual shooter there. But what do you guys think? I'm curious. What the hell do you guys think? Right? I'll give you my 2 cents. And like I said, I don't lie to you guys. I don't come on here and try to beat around the bush. I have absolutely no reason to obfuscate or deflect on anything like that. That's not why you guys listen to me. I don't try to appease. I don't say things just to go along with the grain or anything like that. So I'll give you my honest 2 cents. I do not believe, from what I have seen, that this was in any way staged, right? Again, there was a lot of things that jumped out to me right away in the Butler, the Butler situation. that automatically looked out of place, things that didn't make sense. And not to say that there aren't things here, not to say that there aren't absolutely parts of this that that make it look funny, that don't add up. Obviously, you got Caroline Levitt talking about shots being fired. I mean, let's just be honest with each other. Anybody using reasoning, logic in this situation can tell that she's more than likely talking about jokes, more than likely talking about zingers going back and forth. And as much as I despise these people, right? Please don't make me come on here and more than I need to have to explain this, right? Because I think at some point we tend to give Donald Trump too much credit. You know what I mean? Like a guy that has, a guy that we say has dementia, a guy that we say doesn't have too much longer to live, a guy that we say can't fucking form a sentence, a coherent thought. We're also now to believe that he somehow orchestrated another one of these things. Again, you also have to recognize the plausibility, the amount of anger that's out there, the ease in which people can get weapons. I mean, look at all the things that we bring up on the show. The detriment, to society, the things that we've talked about with ICE, the cancellation and hurt put on people by, removing them from their health care or canceling, cancer research funding for children. All of these things that we could talk about, the rise in gas prices, putting people out of their homes, people losing jobs and stuff like that. So again, it's not really, out of the realm of possibility. It's not, not plausible, let's say, for somebody to, again, take it upon themselves in this situation, like we've feared, like we've been calling. If this was to continue, there's going to be a line in the sand that inevitably this fucking country draws, or people draw for themselves, where they just can't take anymore. And, we hope to avoid that at all costs. But I just, I don't think in this position here that there was this the flag lowering moment, or a Donald Trump with his fist raised with blood on his ear and his face and stuff moment. Like, you know what I'm talking about? I'm not saying that he's not utilizing this to try to further his ballroom. I'm not saying that he's not going to try to, gain favor with this, gain some notoriety, gain some fucking, try to gain some points back as far as this is concerned. Two things can be true at the same time, right? Not everything is the, is the conspiracy theory, but I just don't believe, and again, this is just speaking for myself, my own opinion. I don't see that this was kind of, an orchestrated plot put together by the administration to try to, go up in the polling or gain points or anything like that. I don't. I'm just being real. I'm just being honest. I could be wrong. Very well could be wrong. The problem that I think is that I don't think we're ever going to know. Right? There's no trust in the DOJ. There's no trust in the FBI. There's no trust in this administration, no matter or regardless of what they say they find or what they come out and say. Right. So I just don't think to some point we're ever going to know, the same way we're probably never going to fucking know, to a T, down to a T, that we could say for certain in Butler. I know we all speculate that one, I think for certain was put together. Absolutely. I mean, you could tell by the way that the fucking photographers were ushered in. You could tell by the way that the flag was raised. Hold on, let me get my shoes. Let me stay here in the line of fucking fire for another 13 seconds while I pump my fist type of shit. So again, and by the way, like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't fault any of you guys for second guessing this to the high heavens. I really don't. I really fucking don't, because this administration has given you every reason to do so. And again, like I said, if any information comes out that we can hang our hat on, I will be the first person on here raising my right hand saying that I was wrong and saying anybody in the chat with a differing opinion was right. Okay, that's just how we do things around here. But to think that Donald Trump or his team could have put this together, I just don't know. I don't see it. As far as this situation is concerned, I'm not saying that it's beyond the realm of possibility for them to have done in the past, right? By any stretch of the imagination. And like I say, I also don't blame you guys for second guessing this, for thinking that there is some fucking funny business, because there's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense, right? And when shit doesn't make sense, you really want it to make sense, so that you look for, some sort of answer in order to have that make sense. You know what I mean? So again, that's just my 2 cents. Put it in the chat what you guys think. I think to a certain degree, we're giving him kind of too much credit. Right. You can't also have his brain falling out of his head. You can't also say that he has the worst team, the dumbest team, the most incompetent team. Yet they can continue to put these things together and fool, fool the media, fool everybody, or keep everybody quiet in that regard. I just, there's probably a lot more that I had to say to begin with, but, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think at this time, it's getting a lot more likely that we're going to start seeing, unfortunately, more of this happen as more and more people feel the pinch. More and more people lose their jobs. More and more people can't pay for rent. More and more people get kicked off of their health insurance. More and more people, lose their jobs, lose their home, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? So it's obviously going to become more and more plausible. It's obviously a country where we have incredible access to firearms. If he was able to hop on a train and bring these firearms, a shotgun and in a handgun and a knife all the way across the country, I mean, it just goes to show you the ease in which something like this could happen. And obviously the security failures, right? The security failures of this administration, the incompetence seen here is again a consistent through line to every other thing that they've done in this administration, every other situation and how they treat it. This is the same way. The lackadaisical, don't give a fuck, will react if something happens. Until then, we're really not going to plan for A, B, or C. We're just going to leave the door wide open for people, and hopefully, somebody reacts quick enough before they can make it into the actual event themselves. It's like I said, it's a pretty consistent through line, and rather embarrassing, dramatically embarrassing, I would say, when people see this. And like I said in the beginning, you can't even fucking do a dinner right. The chaos that Donald Trump has created in this country won't even allow us to get to won't allow us to get through a single fucking dinner without this happening. But like I said, no hard feelings, no, I'm not going to blame anybody for second guessing that. I'm not going to blame anybody for wanting more details. I just don't think, like you guys, you understand who's at the DOJ. You understand who's running the FBI. The chance of us getting these facts and figures and actually, to an extent where we can believe them is almost fucking 0 to none. So why don't we just throw this back on the screen? There's a couple more angles of this as well, just from some people that were in there, just to see if we can get some more information. I think this is Carrie Lake. She says, "I can't believe how lax the security was at the White House Correspondents' dinner tonight. Upon entering, nobody asked to visibly inspect my ticket, nor asked for my photo identification. All one had to do was flash what appeared to be a ticket, and they were fine with that. When you consider that you are entering a room full of fake news media, 90% of whom hate the president, you would think that they would have done a better job at security. This is what happened when what sounded like gunfire erupted. On the way out, I called a bunch of people of the disgusting media who have been pushing hatred towards President Trump for years. They are a big part of the discord in this country." And she goes on, I think, to brag about berating Jake Tapper on the way out and saying that he somehow was involved or is responsible for this. This is, I think she has 4 pictures here. One's a video. Let's just see here what she has posted in this video real quick. See if there was another angle of this.
What happened?
Or he was ushered out. But unless you want a sore neck, I don't think that's going to help anybody, Carrie. So, you can see the incompetence running through the party as far as that's concerned. But just some different pictures here of people hiding under their desks, some people still sitting at the tables. There's that famous video going around of the guy still chowing down on his fucking mashed potatoes, right? Was so hungry, couldn't get enough of them mashed potatoes, right? Didn't even want to get under the seat. Didn't even bother to move anywhere. Didn't even take the fork out of his hand and was still munching down on that dinner. Wasn't gonna let that free dinner pass him up in any regard. And then there was this here. I want to take a look at this because this was by the Daily Beast. This headline: "I slept next door to the assassin in the Hilton room 10235. This is a security fiasco." And again, after shots rang out, after someone shouted, "Get down," after what seemed like an eternity staring at my colleague's shoes, after watching Trump's cabinet rushed out, terror etched on my face, many of their faces by men with their fingers on their triggers, after Capitol Police officer asked me if I'd seen the congresswoman he thought I might have been at the table next, after being told to leave and trooping up an elevator past men in ballistic helmets with long guns going down the other elevator. After gathering with my colleagues and trying to process what happened, I went to the elevator and pressed 10 because I wanted to go to my room. When I walked down the darkened, sinuous corridor to room 10235, one door short at the very end, I was stopped by a polite man in a suit and an earpiece. "Sorry, sir, you can't come through." I saw that further down the turn of the corridor behind him were at least 5 men, one in an FBI bulletproof vest, another with the Secret Service police windbreaker, and apparently they were, executing a search on the guy's room on on the shooter's room there, which apparently this guy just happened to be staying right next to. I just want to see if there's any other further details in this one that they can come out with here. Let's see here. It says, when I went back upstairs, the 20 minutes I've been asked to wait were long gone. The Hilton worker was much nearer to the elevator this time. There were many more uniformed men behind him. I'm sorry, sir, I can't let you go any further, he said. I know you were here earlier. When do you think I can get back in? I don't know, sir. A man in Metropolitan Police uniform next to the Hilton worker said, we're waiting on a judge, apparently, to get the permission to go in and obviously execute that search there. So here's a photo of Stephen Miller and his wife. Obviously, if they're as they're getting rushed out, you can see Pete Hegseth just in the background there. Let's see here. Here's the famous picture going around as well of Cole Allen face down, as they had already kind of stripped him of his shirt and stuff to make sure, I'm assuming, to make sure that he had no further weapons, no explosive devices, no anything like that on his person. But again, this was also reported that he was shot and killed in the immediate reporting of the chaos. So clearly, you can see how the fog of war type of shit has taken hold, has taken effect, because clearly that wasn't the case as well. He says, quite simply, a man who wanted to kill people, many people, maybe my colleagues. He checked into the Washington Hilton just like I had. He had used his access to move from floor 10 to the ballroom lobby just like I had. And again, I think one of these details, and like I said, I pulled up so many of these, I forget which one says what, but one of these does detail exactly when he went through his reservations and stuff, which I believe was April. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Let me see here. It says, how on earth could someone with a disassembled long gun check into a room at a hotel where the president was going to speak? I can answer that. Nobody even looked at my luggage on Friday afternoon. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you right here. He said, if it does not take a security expert to unravel the layers of failure that happened at a Washington, D.C. hotel on Saturday night, how on earth someone could, with a disassembled long gun, check into a room at a hotel where the president was going to speak? And he says, I can answer that. Nobody even looked at my luggage on Friday afternoon. Worse, my colleague arrived on Saturday at 5 p.m. No one looked at his luggage either. No magnetometers, no hand checks, no ID checks, nothing, right? And again, we're talking about a time where the United States is engaged in war, right? We have an enemy. We also have the reports of these scientists and high-profile people in different positions going missing, coming up fucking empty on the searches, right? We got Donald Trump petrified, talking about how Iran is threatening to assassinate him and trying to assassinate him. We got all the anger inside of the country, the frustration inside of the country, all of the bad polling and people showing their frustration with this administration inside of the country. Right, all of the attempts, the alleged attempts beforehand, and this is kind of the lackadaisical security approach. And again, this is kind of lending credence to the other side of the conversation, the other side where people are suspecting some funny business was going on, like things don't line up. But this is an administration where they never do line up, right? Where nothing ever makes sense. So a lot of the time here, we're like, okay, that doesn't make sense. So there's got to be some other route. There's got to be some other method or some other plan in there. When again, it just could be just complete and sheer and utter incompetence from these people. But again, like I said, we reserve the right to find out depending on what information comes out next. And I'll be right here covering it. And I will tell you that I'm wrong. And you guys can gloat and do your little happy dance in the chat if I'm wrong. I promise I will have no problems giving you guys the round of applause that you deserve if, in fact, it does come out. If we finally hear from a whistleblower or somebody behind the scenes or somebody in the Secret Service about some funny business that was planned or some connections to, Cole Allen and somebody in the administration or somebody in the Republican Party, I'll be right here with you. It says here, how on earth could that person get downstairs and assemble a long gun? I can answer that too. I moved up and down from floor 10 all day. Nobody ever stopped me and asked me anything. I have never shown my ID except to the clerk who checked me in. I have never been searched or frisked when I checked in or moved in or out of the hotel. To get down from my room to the dinner, I simply flashed my ticket. It could have been a photocopy. The only time that I went past a checkpoint was at the same magnetometers that Cole Allen, 31, sprinted past with his gun, the ones that we saw on the video posted by Trump. Another colleague was outside. I texted them a copy of their ticket. That allowed them to get into the hotel as far as those same magnetometers, entirely unchecked. How on earth could that be considered safe? right? So I think that's kind of like another consistent through line that we're seeing, and people questioning this again, as the administration, as Donald Trump and Todd Blanche and Kash Patel are trying to, throw this out there as being like an overwhelming victory, an unbelievable achievement, by the Secret Service, by the security in general, when in fact it is just a clear and present failure, just an absolute incompetent security failure by any measure, by any stretch of the imagination. Why, after the questions that have already been posed about people that have been able to get on roofs within a certain distance of Donald Trump, of the president speaking, now being able, or then even going on to be allowed to go on to Donald Trump's golf course and have a rifle sticking out of the bushes as Trump's playing golf. Now we're talking about this again. So again, I on one hand completely understand why people are questioning this, and will continue to question this regardless. And I'm right there, right there with you as far as understanding the background, understanding the bullshit, the propaganda, the lies, and the reasoning that you have for doing so. Absolutely, no problem acknowledging that whatsoever. But there's a few more of these too. This was something that people are bringing up as well. This was a Fox News phone-in kind of interview. I'm not familiar with who the female is on the other side of the line, but she had something seemingly pretty important that she was talking about regarding Caroline Leavitt's husband and what kind of conversation they were having just before the shots were fired, just before this kicked off. And apparently she gets disconnected. Apparently she gets cut off. Fox either didn't want to have the conversation, didn't want that information out on the airwaves, or she hung up herself, or somebody, disconnected her herself. But the reasoning that the Fox News host gives is again, just complete and utter bullshit as far as that's concerned. Let's just see what they say here. And again, listen to what the woman's saying, and then listen to at what point she's cut off.
I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me. And, right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened. And then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some...
Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time. I'm
just not buying it. I'm not buying that's the reason for the drop in the call. There's just no chance whatsoever that that's the reason right there, okay? There are millions and millions of people living in cities all over the fucking planet that consist of a bigger population of people that were in and around this event. And again, unless Secret Service or, the administration of the government somehow was shutting down cell access or cell service or the cell towers in the area, and that's somehow been reported and we can confirm that somehow, I'm not buying it, okay? If people can make calls in fucking Beijing, right? People should be able to make calls outside of the, outside of this establishment. I mean, how many people were actually at this event? What are we talking? You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? But it seemed like, she had some pretty pertinent information that, Caroline Leavitt's husband was going to tell her. And again, this is kind of stoking the flames, right? These is kind of feeding the fire as far as people thinking, maybe there is some fucking shady business going on here. And again, a lot of people referencing Caroline Leavitt's own words, where she goes on to, again, like we talk about the, the shots will be fired. And again, a ridiculous coincidence, I think, in my view, but how stupid would you be to actually tell people that, or to actually give people the knowledge that you have some sort of awareness that that's coming throughout the night, if that was actually going on? So I'm just kind of, like I said, using logic and reasoning in that. And when you're talking about a roast type of event, when you're talking about people coming out and trying to fire jokes at people, like, you can see the connection. You can see how it's also, you can also use that terminology for that purpose as well. So again, to as far as what's plausible, what's not plausible, that's just kind of where my mind's going at this point. But again, you guys need to, or if you can, or if you have something that will convince me otherwise, shoot it at me, peeps.
I did want to add this while we had a moment. I was just reading.
Again, that just kind of replays as far as that's concerned. But I don't know who Aisha Hasney is. as far as that's concerned, but she was trying to give us something, and I don't know if she's been picked up since then by any other any other show on Fox News to kind of finish her thought as far as that was concerned, or if she has a Twitter account or anything like that. But I'm sure at some point that will reveal itself as well. But this is kind of just showing the ongoing propaganda of people that do still continuously support this administration and how they are still in lockstep to a large degree, and how that memo that, hey, this is your fucking direct line of messaging that we always talked about coming from the White House, coming from the billionaire donors that these propagandists and podcasters use daily. Well, if this doesn't kind of tell you that, if this doesn't kind of give you another example of how that's still happening, just seemingly with different people or not as many of the well-known people as you would expect. This is posted by Midas Touch, and they say MAGA accounts tweet in unison about the need for White House ballroom following White House Correspondents' dinner incident. And again, this is following Donald Trump's statement. And maybe I'll just play. Let me see that. I think I have that on here as well. Let me see here, because I think there's only like 2 minutes or 3 minutes of that. That's even worth getting into. Let's see here. Was it this one? Was it this one? So many goddamn tabs. Holy sugar. Nope, wasn't that one either. Was it this one? Nope, wasn't that one either. For crying out loud. It's got to be one of these at some point, right? Nope, not that one either. Where is it? I know it's in here somewhere. Is it one of these ones? Yeah, it is right here. Okay, I got you. Like I said, there's about 417 tabs pulled up. But before we go into like the propagandist and what they're saying in unison, we should probably dive into, again, like I said, the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes of this bullshit, ridiculous press conference that he had after the shooting was done. They all sprinted to the White House to have this, to have this press conference that they were desperate to have to get their messaging out there. So again, just to listen to, like I said, the first 2-3 minutes of what Donald Trump's talking about. And this is another reason, another aspect in which people are pointing to say, hey, it looks like he's definitely utilizing this for his benefit. He's definitely utilizing this for a specific purpose. And again, I do believe that two things can be true at the same time. I do believe that, they could recognize there's some kind of benefit, or they could try to get some benefit out of this while also not having, overtly orchestrated the whole thing themselves. So let's just see. Like I said, I'll even speed it up a touch so we don't have to deal with too much of this guy's bullshit. But this is where he gives his first statement and then goes right into basically telling people how this is the reasoning in which we need a ballroom. And then again, we'll go into the propaganda, the MAGA propagandist, and how they're in lockstep with that rhetoric. So that's probably the way we're going to do it. Let's dive into this.
Well, thank you very much.
Dumpy do look at her.
That was very unexpected, but incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. And this was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties,
which is again just the biggest piece of bullshit hypocrisy you could possibly put out there. The guy that's suing more fucking media conglomerates, more media corporations than anybody in the history of the fucking planet. A guy that again has disrespected, demeaned, and degraded more reporters than anybody in the history of fucking politics is now going to go up there. The guy that's done more to try to shut down free speech, to try to shut down people that have criticized him than any other president in the history of this country. He's going to go on there and talk about how this is supposed to represent free speech. Why? Because you fucking booted out all the comedians and you thought you had a banger of a fucking speech to give. That was like that was the free speech. And again, the fact that these sycophants and these morons in there that, Donald Trump would throw under the bus in a heartbeat, people that Donald Trump wouldn't fucking throw a bucket of water on, wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire on the side of the street, and Donald Trump just happened to walk past them like Caitlin Collins or any of these other fucking idiots, right? The fact that they would show up and normalize this bullshit is another reason in which it fucking infuriates me, another reason in which I'm kind of ticked off at this moment in time. But he goes on here to he doesn't want to have to bring it up, but it necessitates the fact that he brings up this fucking ballroom again.
The press, and in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified, I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in
I saw a room that was terrified, not unified. They were fucking terrified. The people hiding under the tables, they weren't unifying under the tables. They were fucking terrified and frightened under the tables because, again, the incompetency because of the fucking failures of your security team, the failures of the Secret Service, and the people that were fucking, supposed to establish a perimeter, establish some sort of, difficulty of access to get into that fucking benefit, that area, that party itself. So no, there's just no way in which I'm getting anybody to come out here and say that this is like deserving of fucking, a clap, a round of applause. No, it's a failure all the way around in this regard.
Very beautiful. A very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity. I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now, put out on Truth and put out on many other platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job.
Again, with just a complete failure to recognize that he made it that far. The fact that he was able to get to that point is a failure in and of itself, right? Is a breakdown in and of itself in the security detail and the security setup of that area. Come on.
Officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun, and the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's in great shape. He is has very high spirits, and we told him we love him and respect him, and he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight. And I will say, it's not a particularly secure building. And I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone proof. It's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted
again. None of those things would have stopped us. Apparently, none of those things that he just said would have had any impact on tonight's event or what happened at that event. None of it. Right? The guy didn't use a drone, right? So the fucking drone-proof ceiling, the drone-proof roof wouldn't have fucking helped, right? The guy was already inside of the event. So again, unless you were worried about bullets going outside of the fucking ballroom and hitting people on the outside of the ballroom, really the bulletproof glass wasn't going to fucking help you in that regard either, right? The security, I mean, your ballroom's only as secure as the people secure in that ballroom. You know what I mean? Again, unless that fucking drone-proof roof and the bulletproof glass is just made to, what, keep in the bullets? I don't know, keep in the explosions, keep in the drones. You're just going to let everybody walk freely in amongst themselves and get in there, and then you're going to tout about the roof and the glass and the shit. No, doesn't really make much sense, does it? If you're just going to let them fucking waltz in there, if you can let them get that close in the first place, your windows and your roof ain't going to help.
For 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because today we need levels of security.
Can anybody in this administration point to me, like in the direction of a piece of paper, a piece of legislation, a fucking note, somebody written in somebody's journal in which they were demanding this ballroom, in which this ballroom was being called for? We just never heard about it. Again, it was like something that everybody was demanding. The Secret Service was demanding. People in the security agencies were demanding. Yet nobody ever talked about it. Nobody ever mentioned it. It's never been brought up anywhere in committees and hearings or anything like that. Just all of a sudden, can you point me in the direction of where that was last mentioned, where that was last talked about as far as this really existential ballroom? Like, what the fucking idiots.
Probably nobody's ever seen before, but everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the DC police. And just spoke with them.
He goes on to kind of reiterate and kind of go through his whole spiel and bullshit. Continuing to talk about that, but this is where I wanted to bring up the, kind of the propagandists that were doing their work as well, because this is, again, the post by Midas Touch, where people talking about what Donald Trump just said and trying to, build upon this situation, build upon this chaotic situation, to try to reestablish the reason as to why they are desperately in need of this fucking ballroom. That again, I think at least one judge had already said wasn't allowed to go through with it, and then a federal judge, I think, overrode that one. If I'm getting that correctly. But here, let me see if I can make this bigger on your screen, just so you guys can see these ones. Is this a picture? Just a little easier for you to see. I'm gonna make it a little bigger for you guys. Why do I feel like the only thing that's not getting bigger is the words? Well, anyway, you'll catch the drift. So it doesn't take much to understand what's going on in this as far as this is. But this is, again, Andrew Colvett. This is why President Trump needs to build a White House ballroom. Libs of TikTok. This is why we need Trump's ballroom. Jack Posobiec. Thank God President Trump is building a ballroom. End wokeness. Now you know why the left is suing to block Trump's privately funded White House ballroom. Wall Street Mav. We need the White House ballroom. Meghan McCain. I don't want to hear one more fucking criticism of Trump's new ballroom. Tara Bull. Now you know why they don't want Trump to build a ballroom in the White House. Dustin Grage. I don't want to hear another word from Democrats about the White House ballroom or DHS funding. Cernovich. The Democrat judges who stopped the construction of the White House ballroom did so to enable assassination of Trump. There's a fucking stretch, which almost happened tonight. John Roberts needs to get these thugs into order. Everyone sees what they are trying to do. Tom Fitton. Tonight is one more reason for the new White House Trump ballroom. Geiger Capital. If only there was a ballroom at the White House where they could host secure events. Buzz Patterson. The White House ballroom is looking better and better. Sean Farish, whoever the fuck that is, would be real nice if the White House had its own ballroom. Nick Adams, build the White House ballroom now. Randy Fine, it keeps going. Would be better never again hearing a peep from anyone complaining about the White House ballroom. Brylan Hollyhand, yes, that's a real name. That is a fucking thing. That is a goddamn thing. Brylan Hollyhand, god damn. That is a name begging for the kid's head to meet the inside of a toilet at some point. I'm sure it already did. I don't know how old he is, but Brylan Hollyhand goes on to say, when Democrats don't get their way, they get dangerous. Build the White House ballroom ASAP. Again, so you can see kind of the coherent through line as Midas touched. MAGA accounts tweet in unison about the need for a White House ballroom following the White House Correspondents' dinner incident there. So, just to show you that to some extent, to some point, there are still these people willing to not only toe the party line, but to take the talking points, to take the propaganda straight from the top and use it kind of verbatim, word for word. What was the other one that we said? There was another instance. There was another example we pointed out on one of the other shows, one of the last shows that we did, where they all kind of had the same or a similar thing that they were talking about. I can't recall right now, but at some point it'll probably come back to me. All right, let's see if we can continue on, because here's another aspect here that I wanted to touch base on as well. This is probably going to feed more into your way of thinking, your line of thinking, if I'm kind of reading the room, reading the chat right today. This is Patrick L. Riley. He says, all right, I'll be that guy. In the room before the panic, we clearly hear 5 shots. The video Trump posted shows him run through. Agents drew guns. Cole Thomas Allen had a makeshift shotgun, not an automatic rifle. The shots were the agents. Agents shoot center mass. Something stopped the shooter. He is shown on the ground, chest and back exposed, center mass. Where did the agent shoot him? What stopped him? Where is the blood? Where is his trochlear? Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. I failed my doctrine. Vein, not indicating that he is in any pain or distress. The video of Trump, Melania, and the magician shows the women reacting as if there's a shooter before Trump or others react as if it was practiced. Is this another staged event? And again, this is just representative of the people that are asking questions in this regard. So the reason in which we pulled that up, because I'm sure a lot of you may even have very similar, if not the same questions along the same lines. And I want to make sure that you guys feel represented as well. Because like I said, I don't really think that there's any question about it, that there's reasoning out there to question every aspect of what this government says, of what this government tries to portray, especially if they're trying to use it for their benefit directly after this. So again, I don't in any way, shape, or form blame people for having their questions, their second guesses, their little theories about what may or may not have taken place, because it's even spread this far. You know what I mean? Here's Terrence K. Williams. I don't know if you guys hold on. Let me see here. Does this post the video? Yeah, no, we already showed that video. It's posted, and then obviously the picture of him on the screen. But this is Terrence K. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Terrence K. This is Terrence K here. Big MAGA guy, especially on Twitter and social media here. But he's questioning kind of the Secret Service aspect of this, right? So you can see that there's people on the MAGA base, willing to toe the party line. And then there's people here that are willing to toe the party line, but trying to figure out how the fuck this happened. Because they're not just willing to go along with what Todd Blanche is saying, of like how fantastic this was, what Donald Trump is saying, how fantastic this was, what a uniting thing it was, right? So this is Terrence, and he goes on to here to share his 2 cents. It's 4 minutes long. We don't have to dive into the entire thing. I think the first minute or two you'll get the gist of where he's going with this. Let me see here.
Please excuse my language in this video, but I'm pissed the hell off. They are trying to kill President Trump again. They are trying to kill this man again. But I want to know, how in the hell did somebody get a gun in the freaking building? It don't make...
Because they're idiots. They're idiots. Again, there's only 2 explanations. They're either incompetent, they're morons, they're idiots, or again, they set it up themselves. I don't see how there's another way out of this, okay? There's only 2 routes, 2 paths, right? The road less traveled. Which one are you taking, Terrence?
No damn sense. How did somebody get a gun inside the building?
I'm sorry, is there not like multiple other aspects and examples that we could point to as far as, lackadaisical security, problems and lapse in security that I'm sure you probably made a video about in the past? Just, I don't know, just pointing that out. Seems to be a pretty consistent through line, like a theme almost with this administration.
White House Correspondents' dinner. Please explain to me. How did that happen? Huh? Secret Service got some explaining to do. Woo! Yeah, they got some explaining to do. The FBI got some freaking explaining to do.
And again, even going as far as to say the FBI's got some explaining to do. And they're already doing their digging on the right as far as like who the Secret Service officers involved were. I think there's even a picture that they're trying to put out there of the same woman that was at the Butler event. The one that they were ripping apart for, I don't know, I think it was like the way that she held her weapon, or I forget what it was now, but somehow they were ripping this woman apart, this woman Secret Service agent apart at the Butler event. And I think they're trying to drag her through the mud once again, looking for answers and scapegoats. But this was interesting as well. This because you've heard that it was basically a homemade shotgun has been reported, not so much a long rifle. But this woman here seems to be allegedly an eyewitness of what took place, and she said that she actually saw the gunman have time to assemble the weapon in the place before he actually sprinted towards the magnetometer, before he ever reached the Secret Service agents. Listen to what this woman says, because she says, this is posted by Jennifer Lawrence, eyewitness account of the gunman before, during, and after the shooting. Am I hearing this right? He put the gun together in a cordoned-off area next to security where the bar cots were. And again, listen to this lady's accounting, and then you tell me what you guys think. I'll let you guys be the chief deciders. And it looks like she may work for the hotel. Looks like she's wearing some sort of name tag as far as this is concerned. So I don't know if she's with the hotel or the service people, the people that were serving the food and stuff, but you can definitely see some sort of name tag here. So let's see what she has to say. Let's see what she saw.
Okay. So you're taking tickets at the terrace level?
Yeah, and everyone was pretty much in, and a lot of people had already gone.
I think actually the first words that the reporter says, or the guy doing the interview, is that she was taking tickets at the terrace level. So I'm assuming that she either works with the hotel or the event staff, and she was the ones taking tickets.
Dinner breaks in shifts. Yeah. And I was just out there, and there was still security there, and I was even talking to a security guard that had a dog there. Yeah. And there's a room. Well, it was like a makeshift room. I think they had it closed off.
And I'm sorry if it's hard to hear, because there's helicopters flying around. There's people talking in the background. There's cars driving by. But she's basically describing the room in which she was working next to, in the room in which she saw this guy do what allegedly she saw him do. So I'll see if I can repeat it in parts that are tough to understand. Again, I know the volume's typically low on this Twitter shithole, so my apologies. There's not much I can do. It's up all the way on my end, so my apologies. I'll see if I can kind of spit it back at you if it's tough to hear.
Wheeling the bar carts after the reception.
So basically saying this is where they wheel the bar carts after the reception, so where they're bringing the drinks and the food in and out, the wait staff, so kind of around that area.
All all these numerous bar carts going into this area, I think, to go in the elevator to go downstairs.
Okay.
So it looked like a makeshift room. I mean, he was literally from me to that building, and there was a security guy there too. I mean, I don't think anyone knew what he was doing.
Describe him. What did he look like?
Which is crazy too, because she says there was a security person there, and as you just heard her say, she was from here to the building was the guy, and as the camera pan, you can see the building's not that far away, maybe some 10, 15 feet, probably hard to tell, depending on what camera and how far away they are there, or how zoomed in he is, I should say, but definitely not that far away. But she also says that there was a security officer there, but was just kind of, I guess, unaware of this guy was assembling a gun in the room.
I'm not even sure what he looked like.
And what made you think he's the shooter? How do you know he's the guy?
I saw him put the gun together and start shooting.
So the reporter, again, in case people are just listening and he couldn't hear there, the reporter asked, could you see what he looked like? What did he look like? And she kind of says, I couldn't even tell you, like everything happened. I didn't even really get that clear a sight, or she probably doesn't remember. I don't know. I'm not going to put words in her mouth, but she didn't have an answer to it. So the guy asked, well, how did you know that he was the shooter? So she then turns around and says, well, he was fucking putting together the gun. I watched him put the gun together.
Oh my God.
Yes. I mean, he put it together and started and ran towards the stairs to go down to the ballroom.
Who did he shoot? In what direction did he shoot? What did he shoot?
I don't know what he shot. It just seemed like he was shooting all over the place.
How far away were you when you started shooting from him?
From that building to here.
Did he shoot in your direction?
No, he shot like over towards that way. Like the magas to go in were behind me, and I guess he was shooting towards them. They were starting to tear them down even.
Tear down what?
The magas, the metal detectors that you have to.
So she starts to say there that they were starting to tear the metal detectors down. She also says that she saw the guy literally put the gun together. Kind of in this like makeshift room that was where the trolley carts were going along, while another, security agent, apparently, allegedly, as by her story, by her accounting, was also in the vicinity there. Some other accountings here from people that were in the vicinity seeing these different things. And like I said, let you guys, put the pieces of the puzzle together, come out with your own determination. Here's another one that I wanted to go through. This was a video from a call by Simone Sanders in with MS Now, as she talks about the security or the lack of security that was in place here. So let me just see if we can go through this. This is about a minute 52 seconds of, again, Simone Sanders kind of giving her accounting and talking about the security procedures, or again, like I should say, lack thereof in this case.
Steph, it is honestly unconscionable. Just like you, I've been to many a White House correspondent dinners. I've been going for the last 10 years, but this year I actually showed up to the Hilton shortly after 8 p.m. And I actually took a scooter right up to the front of the Hilton driveway. And this matters because, as you know, usually there's a lot of protesters outside. That's outside of those barricades before you can actually enter into the driveway of the Hilton. But this year, there are no protesters outside. I've come to find out the people were actually milling about into the lobby. When I got off of the scooter and in front of the barricade, usually you have to show ID and a ticket. The folks at the security at the gate, and these were not agents, the Secret Service agents, they were not identified as Secret Service agents that I could see at the gate, but they did not ask me to show ID, and they did not even ask me to show a ticket.
So that's at least, the third or fourth person that we've heard so far, just in the accounts that we've looked at, talking about how, like, they were surprised they didn't have to show more ID. They didn't have to show their ticket sooner. They were able to kind of waltz right up to the front door. They were able to kind of waltz right into the lobby. And apparently you could kind of go as, go where you please. And then kind of the first level of security was when you went down to where the White House Correspondents' dinner was itself. So apparently, everybody kind of talking about this lackadaisical security detail, the lackadaisical perimeter setup, and how kind of easy it was for anybody to get in there. And like I said at the beginning of this, and I've probably said it and mentioned it a few times at this point, but it kind of very important, I think, to consistently repeat. But we're at war. We are a country at war right now. We have scientists and high-profile people, high-level people disappearing without a trace, without fucking a trace, without an answer, nothing to be found, nothing to be seen, never to be seen again, right? We have Donald Trump, who allegedly has had multiple attempts on his life, right? I mean, all of the things, all of the anger, all of the things that, that Donald Trump's done wrong in this second term that have pissed people off in this country, the ease in which we can access firearms in this country, the amount of firearms that we have. One would think that like the hotel would be cleared, every guest would be checked, they'd run through a fucking background check, every bag would be checked, there'd be a perimeter on a perimeter blocks away that anybody getting into that perimeter would have to show ID, credentials, ticket to that event. Obviously, you would have to go through a magnetometer, would have to show their bags, would have to show their purse. Like, that's just, I don't know. Is that like common sense? Is that too logically thinking on my part? Is that just, am I stupid for trying to think that smartly? You know what I mean? It just, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. But she goes on here to be like, it was very easy. I think Jim Acosta also had a clip that was kind of making its rounds where he says that he's gone to this a few times and that, you could typically just kind of waltz right into this thing if you wanted to. You know what I mean?
They said, "Oh, you're good. I'm sure
Let me throw this back on the screen. My apologies. Forgot I was ranting big screen.
To your room. I am not staying at the Washington Hilton." As I entered into the driveway, I saw the president's vehicle. The Beast was driving around in the circle of the Hilton driveway, and people were walking around near it, taking photos. Secret Service was not keeping a perimeter, and it ran around about 2 or 3 times while I was outside. When I entered into the Hilton, I asked Secret Service agents, which I saw they were identified as Secret Service agents, which way the ballroom was, and they said they didn't know. When I finally got my way onto the elevator, no one asked me to show ID. No one asked me.
How would they not know? How the hell would they not know? Right? You'd think if you're Secret Service, you're there to protect either the VP, the president, somebody high profile. Like, the one thing that you would know is like where the fucking ballroom is, like where you would have to sprint to in case of an emergency, where you need to keep people out of. So the fact that you had Secret Service agents out there, like, I don't even know where the fuck I am. Who knows? Point me in the direction. I couldn't tell you. Never seen the ballroom. It's like pretty worrying, right? Pretty disconcerting to right off the jump.
So a ticket. I got all the way down to the red carpet area without ever showing a ticket to anyone in the Hilton. I'm saying it like this because this is unusual.
So again, you can see there how easy it would have been for somebody apparently to make it to at least that kind of first point, that first checkpoint, which is again really, really close to where everybody was. There really wasn't much distance between kind of that first level of security that was down those, down the escalator. And I'm not sure if it was down 2 escalators or down 1 escalator. I still think from where the person, the shooter was tackled, that he still did have another level to go down. If I heard that reported correctly as well. But it goes on because this was posted by Chris Webb, where they were trying to give us some more information. Maybe we should do this one first. Should we do this one first? Yeah, I'll show you this one first because this kind of show you the the nonsensical bullshit that was coming from this. I don't know if you guys saw this kind of put out there. Social media influencer Deborah Lee, who has met with Benjamin Netanyahu, falsely claims White House Correspondents Dinner had no security. The event did have security screening, including a main magnetometer area where the shooting occurred. She had enough time to take a selfie, which she later deleted, where she said, "Shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Shooter is dead. Thank you, Secret Service," while posting a selfie. You know what I mean? Like, what was the kid? Wasn't there a kid at like the Charlie Kirk shooting that people were pointing out as well, where he was doing like a selfie where everybody else was ducking for cover and running? Like it just kind of reminds me of that here. But apparently she deleted this. And then she also has a video where I think this says it right here, where she's trying to get everybody to believe that there was zero security, like absolutely nothing, no metal detectors, no nothing, which obviously is false. Again, there wasn't great security by any stretch of the imagination, but it was in place, to some degree. Listen to this.
How did somebody get a gun into the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Honestly, as somebody who went, there was no security. You just showed your ticket and you were able to completely get in. There was just no pat downs, no metal detectors, nothing going on. So really horrible setup. And I just don't even understand how that was.
And again, it's pretty clear. We can see from the video we've already shown a few times, the video that Donald Trump posted, that he had to sprint through one of those magnetometers, one of those metal detectors, first and foremost. So that kind of shoots her theory right down the drain as far as there being absolutely none. And again, unless she was kind of being facetious, unless she was kind of, but it didn't seem like it. She seemed like she was being very, very deliberate with her wording and very technical. Very specific. But this is one posted by Chris Webb that I wanted to go through. He says, this is from my local news last night. They were at the suspect at the correspondent Dinner's home before the FBI even showed up. Cole Allen is registered and having no party affiliation, self-described as a mechanical engineer, independent game developer, and tutor, as we went through in a little bit of the LA Times article. I just want to see if there's any more updates, details, anything to learn from this one. And I think this is, again, a local news going to where this guy lives in Torrance, California.
Is Gramercy Avenue. I want to point your attention a little bit further down the street. Just a few minutes ago, we saw a group of FBI agents kind of sitting there, standing in a circle. But just moments ago, they made a move for one of the homes on this street. Let's get you straight to video that we were able to shoot right at the moment that those federal agents arrived. And actually, before they arrived, we were able to knock on that door that we do believe is belonging to the home where Cole Allen lives. No one answered, but one neighbor did tell us off camera he often sees Allen riding his moped here on this street. Now, according to a LinkedIn page connected to him, Cole Allen is a trained mechanical engineer who now works as a tutor. His current employer, C2 Education, named him Teacher of the Month just last year. That's according to that LinkedIn page. Allen also describes himself on LinkedIn as, quote, a mechanical engineer and computer scientist by degree, independent game developer by experience, and teacher by birth. We heard federal investigators.
Again, another piece of information there, like clearly what seems to be a bright and intelligent guy, a kid, you know what I mean? 31 years old, somebody that clearly, isn't an idiot, clearly isn't like a low IQ individual, having accomplished what he's accomplished, having been where he's been and worked for where he's worked and stuff like that. So again, I don't know if that leads me down the path of believing that he would be like easily manipulated, right? Easily swayed, which again would have to take place in order for this to be some sort of, staged event, some sort of setup. You know what I'm saying? Like they would have to get this guy to give up his life basically for some reason or another, for some incentive or another. But again, that's just kind of another thing that points me in the direction of, probably it might be difficult to get this kid to do this type of act if he didn't feel strongly about it himself for whatever reason or another. But again, let me know what you guys think in the chat.
Tonight say in Washington that right now the motive remains unknown, but we can tell you, according to voter registration records, he is listed as no party preference. As you can imagine, neighbors are just absolutely stunned tonight. Even if they do not know Cole Allen, this residential street is now at the very center of this story.
I walked the dog over here and I got caught up in this circus of helicopters, media, and neighbors.
This guy's like, I don't even know what happened. What the fuck's happening here? I don't know. I wanted to take my dog out for a shit. Next thing you know, I got the fucking microphone in my face. The fucking helicopter's flying above. What the hell's going on? This guy's been sleeping for the last 10 hours. He still has no idea what's happening.
Meanwhile, law enforcement sources are telling ABC News that they now do have Allen's phone and other devices. They are just waiting for a judge to sign off on a search warrant to search those devices. Sources are also saying that as of right now, it appears Allen went from Los Angeles to Chicago before then going to Washington. So still many pieces of the puzzle of this investigation to put together. Again, as of right now, according to federal agents.
Which again points, if that's in fact the case and that kind of, is confirmed, leads, paints a picture of somebody that didn't want to get on a flight, right? Didn't want to take his, the potential firearms or knife that he had with him in his possession into an airport, onto a flight. Deemed it more viable to take the train to get to his destination. So, another, piece of the puzzle that kind of lends itself to having some sort of, prior motive in that regard himself. But let's see here, because this was one of the quicker moments. Yeah, there was this too that was making its way around. Again, just so we kind of touch base on everything. I'll show you all the tabs that I get. This is Cole Allen, a picture of Cole Allen, shooter, suspect Cole Allen in an IDF sweatshirt, Israeli Defense Force. Apparently, he posted this before it was taken down, and I did see a few people run this through AI to see and make sure that it was real. And as far as the AI responses, as far as the responses that I saw, it was deemed to be actually a part of his Instagram that was once or it was previously deleted. So again, make of that what you will, but that's also been making the rounds. And was there anything else that I want to show you? I think that was it as far as that was concerned. And then there's these, right? Because boy, oh boy, was this the quickest that I've ever seen a Lego video come out as far as reacting to, a current news event, a breaking news event? Because this was literally, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe an hour, if that, after the shindig had gone down, after all of this craziness had gone down. The Legos were already on top of it with another banger. There's also another one here detailing and going pretty ham on the Epstein class as well, on the Epstein class. But I think there's a couple of them I want to show. So let's see if we can dive into this. Oh, nope. Let me throw that back on the screen because I hit the wrong button, as I typically do. So it's going to be this one. Throw that on the screen. Go back at it. How's that doing? Better? Where are you? There you go. All right. My apologies. But yeah, let's just see what Lego is rocking with. This is Trump ran like hell off stage. White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting Lego parody music. And again, these are coming out about as quick as they've ever come out. Let's see what this is all about.
Yeah. White House Correspondents' Dinner. Lights, cameras, then chaos. Trump on stage. Let's go. Let's go. Fancy ballroom, Hilton lights glowing. Trump in a suit, orange hair showing. Melania beside him, Vance looking bored. Crowd full of haters, clapping real low. Speech going smooth, ego on inflate. Till a shadow moves near the metal gate. Backpack boy with a grin so shady. Pulls out the heat, now it's getting crazy. Secret service screaming, shots fired. Tables flip, people dive for cover. Bullets flying like confetti in the air. Trump's face turned white, eyes wide with fear. He ran like hell off that stage. Secret service, grab him, turn the page. Legs in the air, tie high, flying wild. Big bad Trump looking like a scared child. Ran like hell, what a show. From the big tough guy to less go, bro. No one hurt but his giant ego. Shots at the dinner, now the whole world knows. Lego style panic bodies on the floor. Wine glasses breaking, screams and more. One agent hit but vest said nah. Gunman tackle goodbye, call ha. Trump in the SUV, hero messed up. Looking back like, is this real?
And one agent hit, but the vest said nah.
Next day at the White House, suit back on tight. I love the Secret Service, they're the best, alright. Lone wolf, that's what he said. While his legs were kicking like he's scared of the dead. Crowd outside laughing, phones up high. Trump ran faster than his own lies. He ran like hell off that stage. Secret Service hero saving the day. From the podium king to a scared little man. Orange man running as fast as he can. Ran like hell. Legendary fail. Dinner of the year, this one made the trail. Ego shot worse than any bullet could. Trump got served. And it wasn't food. Yeah. White House.
And it wasn't food. It goes on there. It's another 2 minutes or so of that, but you guys get the gist. There was also this one that came out. I think this was the original. This was the OG. This is Persia Boy Hemat. He was the one that I think originally came out with the banger about 3.5 seconds after this came out. I don't know how they had this locked and loaded and ready to roll, but they did. And again, it's to some extent, like my dad said, it's AI, so it probably only took a couple changes in the prompt here and there to get this done. So, but here's the OG that came out. This is Persia Boy Hemat, typically with the better of the Lego videos. So let's see what we get. Let's see what trouble we can get into in this one.
White House dinner just went down. Had to control everything. LMAO. But did you? Drama still hit anyway. No comedians. Snowflake, ego so fragile, can't handle the smoke. Hire the mentalist so you don't get roasted, bro. Control the whole.
Yeah, there's another fucking thing. How about can we fire this mentalist guy? Can we fire this guy that's supposed to know everything, supposed to know when shit's coming, supposed to know how to read people's mind? I mean, if you didn't see the gun coming in, if you didn't see that was going to happen, maybe not so much of a mentalist. Just throwing that out there. Maybe that's shooting that guy in the foot as far as his career is concerned. Probably should have seen that one coming there, Chief. No tarot cards. No tarot cards. Put that in your plain view for you to see. No, all right, just curious.
You the only one to blame. No comedians, no comedians. Super fragile snowflake, country going broke. MAGA waking up, they see the joke. You control the video, but
Ready?
you don't control Iran. Yeah. Before the meal, no food, no crumbs on the plate. Prices too high, empty plates, political pie in the sky. Shots fired, whole place got swatted out. SWAT team rushed in, chicken little freaking out. Ballroom is the
chicken little freaking out.
Exit is the cue, trick up your sleeve. Didn't get the survivors to leave. Dapper change, cover up, staging the whole scene. Every time your polls drop low, you pull the same scheme. No comedians, no comedians. Snowflake, ego so fragile, can't handle the smoke. Hire the mentalist so you don't get roasted, bro. Control the whole show. You the only one to blame, yeah. You talk big, tough guy, but we laughing out loud. Had to stage the whole thing so it don't expose the fraud. Shots fired in the room, cleared fast. No food arrived, just drama unsurpassed. Drum post, let the show go on like a hero. But no one was even phased in there. Zero. Shooter apprehended, even different than planned. Now you say we'll just do it all again. Damn, yeah. Super fragile snowflake. Can't handle the smoke. Shots fired. Whole place evacuated. Let the show go on. You the only one to blame. No comedians, no comedians. Snowflake, ego so fragile, can't handle the smoke. MAGA waking up, country going broke. You control the dinner, but you lost the same. No comedians, no comedians. Fake tough guy show, now the whole world laughs. Sacred defense, we see the game. You control the narrative, but you still a loser. Sacred defense.
So they see they're already, popping those things out about as quick as I've ever seen as far as those are concerned. But let me see here. There was another one that I had, I think was it James O'Brien? Yeah, I think it was this one. Let me throw this on the screen while I still got time here. But yeah, those are the I'm telling you, I was surprised to see, especially because it was somewhat late last night. I don't know what time it was, wherever they are, but to see those come out in such fucking rapid succession. And I think they're still making their way out this morning, different accounts that, are kind of, a little bit more, I don't know, let's say janky is the right word for it to say, but Persia Boy coming out with typically the hot stuff there. To put it mildly. All right, but let's see if I can throw this on the screen. This was James O'Brien on LBC. I think it was actually more of Simon Marks, just kind of detailing a little bit of what happened. Let's see. Again, if there's not much that we can learn from this, then I'll get you guys out of here. We'll thank some people, and then you guys can tell me what you guys think. I want to see what you guys think. We'll have a couple minutes in the old chat box before I get you out here to see what you guys are saying as well. But let's see if there's any other info since we started going live, since we got on live, that we need to catch up on.
And that was very unexpected, but
we already heard this, so I'm going to skip through it.
Acted upon by Secret Service.
Oh, you know what? This might not even be James O'Brien. My apology. I think it might be Simon Marks, just as the White House correspondent on with another show here on LBC. So, like I said, if there's nothing really to gain from this, we'll dive out of this. But just curious.
Also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California, and he's a sick person, a very sick person.
Simon, good morning to you. What do you make of what we just heard from the president?
Evening from here, James. First of all, let's talk about the tableau there in the White House briefing room, because it was extraordinary and indeed unprecedented. The president in the briefing room was flanked by the First Lady Melania Trump, by Vice President J.D. Vance, by Secretary of War, as the Trump administration refers to him, Pete Hegseth, by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, FBI Director Kash Patel, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, Secretary of Homeland Security Mark Wayne Mullin. So it was the full cabinet, I mean, not the entire cabinet, but the full series of cabinet members that we know were attending that White House Correspondents Association dinner that then made their way back to the White House. President Trump, of course, raced back to the White House by the Secret Service in a motorcade. There's an extraordinary photograph of Marco Rubio and his wife standing outside the front door to the White House, waiting for someone to let them in. So that gives you a sense of how hurried all of these arrangements were, I think it's very important to note that Melania Trump, and you heard the president right at the end there, give her an opportunity to speak, and she declined the invitation. Melania Trump, if you've seen the film documentary that she's made about her life as First Lady, in that film, you will know how deeply concerned she is about security arrangements for events like this. And so there's
nobody
no
saw
question
it, though.
that the president a couple of times during that press conference made it apparent that she had been
that's the problem, Simon. You say anybody that saw that would know. Nobody saw it, so nobody knows.
deeply affected by the events of the evening. Shortly before he came out into the briefing room, the president on his own social media account released surveillance footage from inside the Hilton Hotel that is staggering. It is clear that when the suspect tried to gain entry to the secure area through which the attendees at the ballroom at the dinner had passed, everybody was already in the ballroom. Everybody was inside. The event was underway. So you see a shot of a handful of security officers with nothing to do because there was no one else passing through the magnetometers. And suddenly a man races.
I mean, I think it's kind of, not to correct Simon or to call him out by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's kind of, I don't know, on some point not correct to say that at any stretch of the imagination, at any point in the night, that there's like nothing for these people to do, right? The people that are supposed to be securing the event, making sure that, I don't know, maybe like a guy with a huge gun doesn't come bursting in through the fucking the metal detectors and try to, pop off some rounds inside. I'm just saying there's like at no point, just because all the people are in the room, should these people be like kicked back in a fucking recliner with their feet up watching sports. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? They're supposed to be kind of on the tip, on the balls of your feet at all points, head on a swivel. You know what I mean? Making sure that at all points, at all times, people ain't running in with the shotgun, possibly. Just, I don't know. Again.
Through the magnetometer, charges past a handful of security personnel. I mean, with the speed of a greyhound, they then notice him and they then pull their guns out from their holsters, draw their guns, and fire at him. But
and how the hell was the guy not shot? That's another one of my questions, right? That's another question that I said. And like I said, it's not like I don't have any questions about it. It's not like I don't see any like discrepancies or things that, should rightly be called out or anything like that, right? But how the hell was the guy not shot? Like, how could he run by that in that close a proximity to all of these security guards, fire his weapon, all of them immediately draw their weapon, fire back at the guy, and then when you see the video of him just kind of lying on the ground, let me see. I thought I had one of them pulled up where you could actually see. Let me go back in here. My apologies, because I think one of these actually has the the shot of the guy on the ground. Did we look at it? No, like I said, we've been through so many tabs today, so many things that we had to dive into. I forget if we actually saw that yet. Was it this one? No, it wasn't that one. Wasn't this one? Was it this one? No, wasn't that one either. My apologies. I got to go through all 47 tabs that I had pulled up. I guess this is probably as good a shot as you'll get, right? I mean, there was another one that was a video where you could actually see him moving, and he was kind of covered by, what do you call it? Like a space blanket almost, like those tinfoil space blankets that people use to stay warm when they're caught out in some emergency circumstances, survival circumstances. But, again, it doesn't seem to me like this guy has been shot several times, like he was put down, shot in the leg. I don't know what. Maybe somebody tackled him. Is there some accounting out there that maybe I missed where he was like tackled outright by somebody? Like I said, I'm sure the developments and the details and the information is coming out hot and heavy as I'm sitting here on live for the last 2 hours. I'm sure there's more details and stuff that could probably get me better up to speed, but that's kind of the risk we take when we go on live, when we put together the show beforehand. I can only do so much, you know what I mean? Like only so much can get through my vision. So this is probably one of the best shots that you see. And like I said, there was a video of this as well, kind of from across the room, where you can see that he's moving. He's clearly not, dead as was originally reported by that. Let's see here. I might as well show you this as well because I don't want to be. Let's see here. Which one did I have it pulled up on? Because it was the Caroline Levitt, and I'll just play that one because that's one that everybody's talking about as far as what she said beforehand, right? What the fuck? Where is it? It's got to be in one of these things, right? No, that one, this one, that one. What's happening? Not that one. It's not this one. Oh, here it is right here. All right. Jesus Christ, so many goddamn tabs I have to go through at this point. But again, just for the sake of covering it all, just for the sake of putting out all the information and all of the stuff that's kind of making its way around social media at this point, this is where Caroline Leavitt calls on everybody to watch tonight, because Donald Trump will bring the heat and there will be quote unquote shots fired. And then it says, because the MAGA voice posted it, let's freaking go. So let's see here what she had to say in this little short clip that everybody's talking about.
To rumble, is he not?
He is ready to rumble.
Uh-huh.
I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
I love it all. And you wrote most of it, you said.
I can't take credit. In true Donald Trump fashion, the man puts his pen to the paper himself. So it's a lot.
Now, again, in hindsight, does that look incredibly fucking fishy, right? Does that sound incredibly irresponsible? Are people rightly going to call that out and question it, considering we saw shots actually fired? Of course. Abso-fucking-lutely. I am not questioning why anybody would be like, well, that sounds fucking a little odd considering what we saw happen. Absolutely, right? But again, to use logic and reasoning in this, and to say obviously there's another plausible way in which he was using those words to suggest that, like, people going up there and roasting the media or roasting journalists would consider that to be shots fired. Again, that's just the way that I come down on that, the side that I come down on as far as that's concerned. I just don't see this one being as like overtly staged. You know what I mean? That's just, I guess that's kind of where I'll leave it. And like I said, with more information that comes out, if we do in fact learn any other details that gives us any other insight, I'll be right here, first person to put my hand up and say, I was wrong. But, as far as what we're seeing now, as far as all the information that I've gathered, all of the reporting that I've seen, what we know about Cole Allen and stuff like that, I'm not leaning towards this being like, overtly staged, something that we could pinpoint as being definitively a setup or anything like that. Of course, there's ways in which he could utilize this and try to benefit from this. Obviously, with his shit poll numbers, obviously with his shit fucking stance that he's got the GOP in right now heading into midterms, clearly with his want, need, and desire to get this fucking ballroom done, he's going to use this to his benefit, or at least attempt to try to gain some favor, to gain some sympathy, empathy points, or stuff like that. So two things can be true at the same time, right? Somebody could be pissed off enough to take matters into their own hands, to go from California to Washington, D.C., to try to, do whatever they tried to do because of something that happened, something they don't like about the administration, somebody that may have been caught up in something. Again, we don't know yet. I'm sure more details and more information will come out, depending on how willing the suspect is to cooperate and give the information, to the authorities so that they could report that out there to others. But that's where I come down on this. What say you guys? I'm going to bring you guys in for a couple minutes on screen so I can see what you guys are feeling. See what you guys are saying over there in the chat. Let's see. Is that big enough for you guys? Can you guys see that all wide? Let's do it wide. There you go. How's that? A little better? Makes it a little easier to see. It says, let's see what that one says. Regina on Facebook says, let's see what forensic and ballistic tests reveal. Have the bullet casings have words on them yet? Again, I see where you're going with that one. But again, I think you're kind of right in the beginnings, but who are we going to trust? That's another part of the problem. That's another huge part of the problem, because I don't think no matter what is found, I mean, we learned this with the Charlie Kirk, murder. We learned this with the information that came out after the Charlie Kirk murder, the way that Kash Patel handled that, and the way that the fucking government and this administration handled that whole thing. The people that still to this day don't believe a single goddamn word that was put out as far as that's concerned. Obviously, where was it, down in Texas? I believe it was Texas, in which that other shooting took place at one of the what was it, an immigration site there, where apparently, allegedly, and then also at another one where they found supposedly writing on the casing. So I know what you're saying. Believe me, I know where you're going with that one. But I don't think anybody's going to be happy with whatever information comes out, especially if it's put out there by the DOJ, especially if it's put out there by the FBI. Right? There's no track record for them or for us to believe anything that they've said or anything that they are going to say. So again, that's another really shady gray area that's throwing some fucking fuel onto the fire in this regard as well. But what else we got? What's that? Derangement syndrome. Is that me? Is that me as I'm trying to say that it's not a setup? I'm just curious. I'm sorry if I hopped into the middle of a conversation as far as that's concerned, but really doesn't make much sense if you're trying to say it as far as me concerned. You know what I mean? No, believe me, Vicky, I got you. Like I said, I don't blame or I won't put down or I won't make fun of anybody questioning this to the ends of the earth. I really won't. I really, really won't. I won't fault you. Like I said, it's just kind of a difference of opinion as far as this one is concerned. So no reason to to shit on anybody or to say that you're outright wrong. I don't know. That's just my opinion, my guess at this point, right? I don't think anybody definitively has an answer that they can base any of the information off of at this point. So like I said, I do understand, Vicky, where you're coming from as far as that statement is concerned as well. What else we got? Let's see what else everybody else is saying here. So to win the market, let's see here. Vincent says, so to win the market, always bet on someone attempting. Again, I always feel like I'm picking conversations up in the middle where I'd have absolutely, I thought I had that one pulled up. Did I not play that one, Kyle? Did I not play that one? Thought I had that one. Now, let's see if I can pull that one. Like I said, for the sake of playing everything for you guys. Let's see. Erica Kirk. For the sake of transparency. Yeah, there it is right here. Throw this on the screen. This is Erica Kirk leaving.
I just want to go find.
So again, just for the sake of showing everything that's now making the rounds, make of that what you will. But yeah, let's see here. What was that one that just went by? I'm tired of her crocodile tears. JD Vance gets removed before the president. Yeah, I brought that up early, Miguel. Like that's something that stuck out to me, right? I think a lot of people are pointing that out, that, it would seem to be a lot more, necessary to get the vice president out of there a lot quicker, or at least the vice president's Secret Service team was a lot more quick on the response, a lot more on the ball than, again, Donald Trump's Secret Service team was, because the guy kind of froze, right? I mean, the video that we showed, let me see if do I have this one pulled up somewhere? Let me see here. What's the angle that we want to show? Is it this one? No, is it this one? Was it this one? Was it this one? Nope. Was it this one? Nope. Was it this one? Nope. Was it that one? Nope. God damn it, for crying out loud. Let's see here. Where was it? Was it this one? Nope. What's happening, for crying out loud? How do they disappear? All right, let's see. We'll go back here. I'll show this on the screen. There's got to be one of these shots on here that you guys could see as well. Let me throw that back on the screen. Get these. Sorry about the comments. Get the comment out of the way. See if I get the chat out of the way for a sec. There's got to be one of these from that angle as well that I was looking for. Let's see here. That's not the angle. That's not the angle. Was it? No, that's not the angle either. That's the one outside that we saw. Pete Hegseth with his cocaine jaw. I don't think we showed this clip yet. The lack of reaction from these guys at this point. Again, the mentalist doing a magic trick, but somehow didn't see this huge event coming, blasting his way. And somehow these people didn't hear all the fucking plates crashing, the tables crashing, or anything along those lines. They were just so involved and enthralled in this magic trick going on, like the 2-year-olds that they are. All right, let's see here, because there's got to be, I mean, it was one of the more prominent angles, right? It was the one that we showed where JD was getting ripped out of his seat. Crying out loud. Where is it? Nope. Fake Tappa. That's not the one. All right, let me see. I'll just go up. Shots heard. Shots. White House Correspondents. I'll see if that brings anything up. Nope, not that one. We saw that one. For crying out loud. It was literally the only one I couldn't, the only one I could find earlier. Now it's the only one I can't find. Oh, I want the JD Vance. All right, I'm just going to type in JD Vance. JD Vance. Yeah, here's the angle right here. Here's the angle right here. Let me put this. I'll play this from the beginning. But you can see, like, this guy right here in the background is the guy that's going to be behind Donald Trump, behind the president of the United States. Already this Secret Service agent clearly already manhandling the shit out of the vice president of the United States, not waiting for him to say what's going on, not waiting for him to say where we going. No, get the fuck out of your seat, buddy, and get the fuck off the stage. That's what's going to happen. I'm now in charge. You're no longer the vice president. Now I'm leading the fucking show here. I'm running. I'm the captain now, right? But take a look at how long it is after JD Vance gets removed from the stage that this guy kind of looks over, recognizes, sees that JD Vance has been ushered off the stage a lot more rapidly, a lot quicker than the president of the United States, and still sits there like a kind of like a deer in headlights a little bit, like, what the fuck do we do here? Check him out in the background. Zooms in on him, right? Zooms in on the guy. Now he's kind of like, oh, excuse me, I think they actually changed places, right? I think they actually changed places. So the original bald guy was not the guy that's going to be behind him. He actually walks away from Donald Trump. The guy that was behind Donald Trump actually walks away from the president. Check it out, right? This bald guy's walking away from the president. The president's right here. This guy's looking at the other Secret Service officer, like Secret Service agent, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you walking away right now? What are we doing with the guy? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? People under the desk, right? JD Vance is gone. He's still looking like vice president's already been ushered off, right? Still enough time for these guys to come out of the cut in their fucking full SWAT gear, full fucking riot gear onto the stage. Donald Trump still got his fat ass in his seat. Now all of a sudden it's like, all right, quick, peel him out of the seat. Peel him out of the seat. Get his legs working. Nope, legs aren't working. He's been sitting down for too long. He's been sitting down for too long. He's got tingly feet. Couldn't feel him, so he went straight down on his face. So then they scrape him up. I don't know who this lady is. I don't know who's this woman again. Oh, is that the lady that was running the event, if I'm not mistaken? She's trying to definitely crowd her way into that. She's like, I ain't getting shot. Let me in this little circle that you guys got covered on. So then he's ushered out. But then there's also an angle, and I don't think I'll have it. I won't waste your time trying to find it. But there's also an angle from another one of these shots from somebody else inside of the event. Let me see here. Was it this one? Where you can see somebody like creepily standing in the background, and people are kind of speculating that it was Trump. You can kind of like just see the outline of somebody standing behind the curtain, kind of, looking like what the hell is going on in the room still, which really wouldn't make much sense, again, if it was what they say it was and what it looked to be. Why they wouldn't have Donald Trump, the president of the United States, rapidly out of the area, definitely off the premises. I think his motorcade even still stuck around for a little while. A lot longer than most people would suspect that they would stick around, with an event like this taking place. I'm not sure if it's this one. No, it's not that one. So I'm trying to find if I got that angle somewhere. Was it this one? One of these angles here? So many of these pictures coming out now. Nope, not that one. Wasn't that one. No. All right. So like I said, I'll have to see if when we get off here, if there's any more information. Hey, I'll just do it right now. Fuck it. Why don't we just do it right now? I'll type in White House correspondent dinner updates. See if there's anything we missed while we're online. Why would I wait? Why the fuck would I wait? It wouldn't make you want to wait. That was 17 hours ago. I'll hit latest. Throw this on the screen for you guys. 10 minutes ago, an active shooter was reported inside the hotel hosting the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Jesus Christ, talk about being a little late, huh? Talk about being a little late. Scott McFarlane updates on the White House Correspondents' shooting suspect. So, should we dive into this real quick? See what he's got to say?
Here's what I got from the reporter's notebook. Cole Allen arrested last night at the Correspondents' Dinner outside the perimeter, is being held in the 3rd District Police lockup. Washington, D.C. police. It's about a half mile, 3/4 of a mile from the Washington Hilton where this incident took place. He'll likely appear tomorrow in the 1 p.m. Eastern time hour at the federal courthouse here in Washington in front of a magistrate judge. And you can bet the farm the prosecutors are going to argue he should remain held behind bars pending trial. And you can bet somebody else's farm that the judge is going to agree to that, at least pending future hearings. It's possible when he walks in that courtroom, he is wearing the clothes he was wearing at the Washington Hilton when this crime occurred. And it's very possible he says nothing and that he's given a federal defender to speak for him Federal defenders in Washington are very, very good. The magistrate judge sitting here in Washington tomorrow with a public calendar is a judge named Zia Faruqi.
So that's when he's going to show up to court and see if there's any other information, see if there are any updates, details, anything like that. 3 hours ago. What happened last night is exactly the reason our great military, secret service, law enforcement, and for different reasons, every president for the last 150 years has been demanding that a large, safe, and secure ballroom be built on the grounds of the White House. Again, with this ballroom bullshit. This event would never have happened. This event would never have happened with the military top secret ballroom currently under construction at the White House. It cannot be built fast enough. While beautiful, it has every highest level security feature there is. Plus, there are no rooms sitting on top for unsecured people to pour in, and is inside the gates of the most secure building in the world, the White House. The ridiculous ballroom lawsuit. Yada yada yada. None of that. There was also a picture of them going around. Everybody was really kind of overjoyed, very smirky, very smiley at their press conference. Trump and his gang during their little interviews that they had. Let's see, Politico. See if there's any updates from like the AP. If not, I'll let you guys go. I'll start thanking some people, let you guys out of here. Let's see, AP News. Anybody? AP? Anybody? Is that not a thing? Do they not have? Oh, there it is right there. AP, bam. Well, that can't be right. They can't only have 15,000 followers, for crying out loud. All right, let's go. Let's go New York Times. New York Times. 15 hours ago, no, 19 hours ago. So not really any more updates or information that I could see. Any other places we could check? Politico, maybe? BBC. Anything reported here? 1 hour ago, Grassley's office has been in contact with the Secret Service since last night. Since last evening, it is in the process of scheduling a bipartisan USSS briefing this week for Grassley and Durbin regarding security protocols and related law enforcement matters involving the shooting. As they definitely should. 4 deadlines. That's not it. Not much that I could see here. Was at the White House dinner. She later asked President Trump to reflect on the night and the assassination attempt in his life. I don't give a shit about that one. I think that should be it. There was also a picture. I think the only thing we failed to show you was a picture of Mike Johnson getting escorted out, running out of that. But it was just a still shot. I didn't really see a video of it anyway. But that's kind of the majority. That's basically everything that I could pull together for you guys as far as angles, stories, updates, information on the shooter, on Cole Allen, 31, again, from Torrance, California. And again, like I said, videos and kind of detailing and firsthand accounts from people that were there. That's my 2 cents on the matter. Disagree where you may. Leave it in the comments. Leave it in the chat. Please hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. Like I said, I'm going to give it to you kind of, truthfully, bluntly. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to give it to you guys to try to fit in. You know what I mean? So none of that shit. And hopefully that's a little bit of the reason that you come here, even if we do disagree, even if we don't see eye to eye on a lot of these things or some of these things. I'm not going to say a lot of these things because to a large degree, I know we all want the best for one another, and we're all fighting for a lot of the same things, but just in different ways, having to do with our upbringing, ages, what we've been through in our lives, no really wrong or how do I just turn into a fucking seal? Jesus Christ. I almost made it through the whole show without turning to a fucking animal. Oh, see, this is what happens when you don't get a day off. When the day off is just really wrapped up in like more bullshit. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's what happens. All right, let's get into thanking people before I fucking totally shut down here and start losing my mind. Thank you to everybody on Venmo. Again, there's a Venmo up here in the corner right here. Like the little tip of my finger. All you got to do is take a picture of that. It takes you right to the Venmo. Quickest, easiest way to support the channel. buck or two, all we ask for supporting independent media, opposition media, resistance media, which is what we are here. We don't have financial backers. We don't have people that are investing in the show. We don't have ad sponsors or ad revenue piling in, flowing in, and flooding your airways with different ads for different bullshit products that you guys will fucking never need, use, or want to begin with, and probably don't work anyway. You know what I mean? So we're trying to do things the right way. But that means we have to keep going and keep funded somehow. So that's why I have to rely on your generosity, your involvement, and your support as a chat, as a community, which is why I'm hoping to grow the chat, grow the platform, grow the account, to take the burden off of the people that have been supporting this channel for quite some time. Believe me, it's something that I often think about and really wish that I could take the focus off of the people that are consistently throwing in money every single time. And if we could get to 50, 75, 100,000 subscribers, just think how a buck or two from everybody would go a long way. So let's get to thanking everybody on Venmo before I go into a fucking spiel. Appreciate you guys for everything that you do. Thank you, Claudia, starting it off today on Venmo. Claudia, look at the hold on, before I don't want to dox you. I don't want to dox you, but I love the I love the Elmo gift that you put in there. Great show, Brian. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you so much to Geneva. Very much appreciated for that. Very, very nice of you. Very kind of you. Very generous. Thank you, Brian. Always great content. Keep working for us. Appreciate you. Right back at you, Geneva. Very, very kind of you to put that in there. Always good to see you in the chat, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you so much to Nina C. Thank you for all that you do. I wish I could contribute more, but it's rough out here. I know. Believe me, and again, if you're new here, if you're just kind of watching one of your first shows, then you'll know, or you'll get to learn real quickly that I don't take kindly to people apologizing for not being able to donate more. Like, that's something that really irks me, because right there is already 5 times the amount that I say that I'm asking for. A buck or two from everybody. A buck or two is all that I require, is all that I ask for. Anything above and beyond that is up to you guys. So you've already 5 times that, Nina. So there's no reason for you to apologize. And I believe me, I'm right there with you. More than you guys could ever know, as far as the rough situation we're all in financially, the unstable, uncertain situations we're all in financially. So if anybody can understand that, Nina, it's me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your kind contributions. I really do. Thank you for everybody that's finding themselves in a difficult position right now. To come out of pocket with a buck or two really, really means a lot. So thank you to Roger as well. Roger and Karen, as usual, thank you guys so much for your kind contributions. Thank you, V. Sawyer, for everything that you do for this show. Wag the Dog Fake News. Appreciate you and your contributions. Thank you so much. And then for the people over the last couple days, I see a couple more in there. Yakov, I see you, brother. Can't be sneaking that by me. For Pops, let's fucking go. So not for me. I appreciate that. So that means I got to run out and I got to give Pops some money now. Jesus. So you already put me in the hole, Yakov. I'm supposed to do this to make money. You put me in the hole here. Okay, I love you, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for what you do. And then thank you so much, Roxanne, as well, for sneaking that one in, trying to sneak that one in. You rock, Roxanne. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Very, very much appreciated. And again, everybody else donating over the last couple days. Kristen, thank you so much. Geneva, again, thank you so much. Yakov, Roxanne, Kathy, Damon, Mike. Thank you, Jenny Faye. Thank you, Barbara. Tom and Victoria, Roxanne, you guys are fantastic and do a lot to keep this channel running. What do you say we hop over here to say hi and thank you to some people on the YouTube side of things? Just Julie, how are you, my dear? How's everything going? Hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here for 20 goddamn months, you saint, you. You goddamn saint, you. Thank you so much for your loyalty, your friendship, your commitment. Really does mean a lot, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Julie, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Carol as well. $2 in the old bank right there. Thank you so much. Shout out to you, Adriana Chechik. Adriana Chechik, grade? Really? Get out of here. Are you fooling with me? Are you lying to me? Don't you lie to me, Carol. Don't get me all excited. I appreciate everybody, especially Adriana, for any of the raids that they send my direction. I should get more on top of that myself. The problem is I utilize StreamYard, so I don't have Twitch open while I'm streaming. So it kind of makes it a little bit more, kind of makes it difficult to have all the tabs open, then try to open Twitch at the end of the show to try to raid people. But I'm trying to get it down. Turpy's been trying to coach me behind the scenes on how to do this a little bit more mainstreamed. So I appreciate you, Carol. And thank you so much to Adriana for sending some peeps over my way. Very, very much appreciated. Let's see if I can reciprocate when I learn how to do so. That would be fantastic. So thank you so much to Carol. Thank you so much to Ricky for 24 months. Let's go. 2 years. What an excellent ride these past 2 years with you, or with all of you fine and fabulous people has been. Here's to 2 more. Lobsters United. Love you all. Right back at you, Ricky. Thank you so much. And what an absolutely adorable picture of your pup. Not only is he smiling, but it looks like he's never been more relaxed in his life. Looks like he just ate all of the edibles that you came home with the second you went to the dispensary. I could be wrong, though, Ricky. I appreciate you very, very much for your contributions. And the fucking 10 gifted. Let's go. Ricky, Ricky in the chat. Ricky in the chat. Shout out, Ricky. Fucking fabulous. 10 gifted memberships right there that 10 people in the chat are going to get for an entire month because of how generous Ricky is. So that's why we're giving W's in the chat to Ricky. Appreciate you and your pup, your stoned pup. Thank you so much to Jeff. I was able to secure a high interest loan. I need to win back cash I lost on your Bruin Stone Cold lead pipe block last week. What's the play today? Well, I think I'm already 14 minutes late. No, I'm already an hour and 14 minutes late, I should say, because I think the Bruins started at 2 o'clock. So whatever's happening now in the game, that's what I bet. Put it that way, Jeff. Put it that way, because I don't think I got one in on time. Not that I'm doing any anyway, but for the sake of the joke. Appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you so much for your contributions, brother. Hope you're having a great weekend. Thank you to OHMS497 for the $2 contribution. What did the poly market speculate? That's a good question too. But I don't, I try to stay as far away from those sites as humanly possible. I find them to be incredibly degrading and incredibly fucking dehumanizing on some of the things that you could risk and wager money on. And obviously the easy ways in which people could manipulate those systems. I mean, did you guys see, Ohms, did you guys, I'm sure you probably heard of this, the way you're talking about Polymarket, but did you guys see the guy that bet on the temperature? What was it, in Paris? Was it in Paris? And actually took a fucking hair dryer to where the temperature was recorded and just made the temperature spike so that he could win his bet. You know what I mean? Like, is that what you really want to be betting on? Do you want to be putting the fucking farm on that? Because I don't. You know what I mean? It's shitty and shady enough when you see something like, ridiculous and insane happen in an actual sporting event, and that like something you can't explain or can't control that makes you lose. But I mean, to see that you had bet the under on that, the under on the temperature and what the temperature would reach. I forget if it was like that day or that month or something like that. But there's video of this stupid motherfucker actually sitting there with a hair dryer, just raising the temperature on the sensor. You know what I mean? It's like, I would be so pissed if I had the under and that story came out. Like, I don't know what happened with it. I don't know if they like negate his victory, right? Because the Super Bowl, right? The guy, the Alex Gonzalez kid, I think his name is, that streaked or ran on the field during the halftime of the Super Bowl, and he bet on it. Like, I don't think anything really happened to him, right? I know which is kind of weird, right? Because wasn't there, I'm asking like I don't know. There was just a U.S. soldier that was arrested for profiting $400,000 on different Polymarket bets that he had. I don't know if it was, I forget now if it was Polymarket specifically or Kalshi, another one of those dumb things. One of the two sites that he had been utilizing to make bets on the Maduro capture. Somebody that had intel, somebody that had classified intelligence to give him the insight, give him the answers to that. You know what I mean? Like, he was arrested, obviously, but this person that, won, I forget, what was it, 100 grand or something with the blow dryer event or something like that, like, or even if it's 20 grand, whatever it is, like, why, like, is he going to be arrested? Is that bet negated? Why wasn't the Super Bowl streak negated? I don't know. The whole thing, it's just really, really sketchy. Seems to be easily manipulated. Just not a good thing. Just not a good thing. So sorry to dive into a rant on that one, but you set me up, Ohms. You set me up. I appreciate you, though. Thank you so much for the $2 contribution. Thank you, Patrick, for the $2 contribution. This is not a tip, not financial support. Oh, this is a tip, not financial support. All right. Hopefully the IRS is watching so they can get that one down pat, Patrick, so they don't come after me as far as that $2 is concerned. But I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. SFL, what's going on, my friend? Stoneflower Dragon, how are you? $2 contribution. Yes, a lot of Leos for one guy after the fact. Yes, a lot of Leos for one guy after the fact. A lot of Leos for one guy after the fact. Lot Leos 1 is capitalized. I don't know. I'm not following. My apologies, Stoneflower Dragon. Yes, a lot of Leos for one guy. I'm not too up on my. I'm not too up to speed on my. What do you call it? I'm a Sagittarius. What do you call those things? See, I told you I'm not up to speed. I don't even know what they're fucking called. You're. I don't know what the fuck's it called. What's it called? You're. Oh god damn it. Sign? Yeah, I'm a Sagittarius. What's that called? What's that part of your astrology? Is that what it is? I don't fucking know. Who cares? I'm asking the question like I give a shit. That's the fucking problem. That's the real problem. Zodiacs. No, that's not. Is that? I don't know. Fuck them. Nothing sounds right. I hate when that happens. When you're desperate for an answer and you get the answer and it just doesn't sound like the answer. Right? That's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, maybe it is my zodiac sign. Again, nothing sounds right. Nothing sounds right. But I appreciate you, SFL. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Tony. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the $2. It's all bullshit. And again, I don't blame anybody for suspecting that. I really don't. But there's really nothing concrete to point to in either direction as far as that is concerned. So again, these speculations are going to continue flying. Like I said, I just gave my 2 cents, and I respect your 2 cents as well, guys. Especially you, Tony. Thank you to Bella as well for becoming a new YouTube member. Very appreciative of that, Bella. Thank you so much for your commitment. Thank you so much for your time, giving me the opportunity, being a part of the community. Hope you're having a fabulous weekend. And like I said, thank you so much for becoming a member and giving us the chance over here at Blunt Politics. Very, very kind of you to do so. Thank you so much to Colleen as well. His quote-unquote team planned this, in my opinion. Trump doesn't have the wherewithal to understand what was going to happen. Right, but isn't that what we say about his entire team, too? You know what I mean? Like, isn't his team filled with fucking drunk, woman-abusing, sexual assaulters and fucking, degenerates? You know what I mean? And again, that doesn't, that wouldn't specifically rule out malintent, but the amount of people that would have to, again, be kept quiet, above and beyond Butler, like the amount of people that would have to be involved, the amount of people, like, I don't know. It's just, again, my 2 cents. That's just me. And again, you guys can have your opinion. That's why it's America. That's why it's a free country. And that's why I love you motherfuckers, because we have this difference of opinion every now and again, and that we're not just a cult that agrees with each other all the time. So Colleen, love you. Don't blame you for questioning it. I will continue to say so. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for the $10 contribution. Berkeley, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you. Thank you so much for the 10. Shout out to you. Much appreciated. Hey, B, I've been in a touch grass mode of my personal resistance, but after a night of news like we've had, I'm right here with you to catch up. Thank you, as always, for keeping us calm as you carry on. Well, I don't know how calm I keep myself, but I do carry on. Berkeley, I don't know if I'm known for staying calm. I don't know if that's really the adjective that's going to be flying around as far as describing Boston Brian. But I love you, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your kind contributions, your friendship, your loyalty throughout the years. It is so very much appreciated, and I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you so much to Carolyn as well. Key cards inactive. Everyone had access to all areas. There's a lot of nonsense, fishiness, lackadaisical security, incompetent security failures that you could point to. And again, the only other route, the only other choice, the only other path is that, everybody was in on it. You know what I mean? So I'm just, I'm leaning towards the other direction as far as, again, what I've seen, what I've heard, that type of stuff, just what goes through my own head. I'm not speaking for anybody else. Soka, thank you so much for everything that you do. Got my Ukrainian tank top, comfy, runs big. Let's go. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for representing. Thank you so much for supporting. I can't wait till at the end of the month in just a couple days to be sending out, we'll have to calculate it obviously, but the amount to United 24 to continue the fundraising, to continue the campaigning, to continue the, to raise awareness and continue sending help and whatever we can over to Ukraine so they can utilize it to the best of their ability. So I appreciate you guys for making that a possibility. Everybody that's got, some of the merch, hats, or anything Ukraine related is going and doing a big favor, a huge favor, not only to the channel, but for everybody else that gets to utilize the funds that get sent over, whether it's with NAFO, whether it's with Tom in his custom apparel and his Ukraine shirts that he has, whether it's with our merch site, whatever it can be, whatever you can do, we appreciate. And thank you so much, Deb, for your contributions. Thank you for the $2. Thank you so much, Crimson. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for the 10. Shout out to you. Is it wrong to enjoy these so much or to look forward to their next one? That's definitely about the Legos. See, because that's kind of the sentiment that I have, Crimson, right? Like I've been saying it since these have been coming out. Like I don't much anymore. Like I don't really much anymore, considering that it's not propaganda, right? It's literally just news, headlines, facts, things that we know and have been talking about here in the United States and all over the world that have been put into these videos. Like if they were outright just completely making shit up, totally lying about everything, exaggerating every possible aspect, just completely fucking not living in reality and just making things up, like it would be more and more difficult for us to enjoy them. But where they're just like, a lot of people utilize them as news now. I mean, a lot of people saw the Lego video talking about the Correspondents Dinner shooting before they knew about the Correspondents Dinner shooting. You know what I mean? So that just gives you an idea of how rapid and on top of the ball they are as far as these like current events, news stories, headlines, breaking news type of shit is concerned. But yes, this is in no way supports of the Iranian regime. I think it's necessary that we continue to tell people that, same way that when we utilize Tucker Carlson or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Alex Jones, we have to continuously tell people that no, these aren't friends, allies, and people that are going to be let back into our tent or, brought over to our side. No, fuck them. They can continue to pound sand, but we'll use their words against their side. Same thing here. In this situation as well with the Lego videos, you know what I mean? It's like, we can talk about how not beneficial, but how effective they are, right? How true, how, in touch with reality and with the breaking news they are, while also recognizing that, we're in no way, shape, or form, rooting for or hoping for, the Iranians who have been known to be working with the Russians, assisting them in their war against the Ukrainians. Obviously, have been brutal to millions of people in their population. So it's probably something that we should continue to put out there. But goddamn, are they entertaining? Are they spot on? Right? The United States seems to have no fucking answer as far as, the White House videos that they were putting on, seemingly are even getting frustrated and pissed off with the popularity and the notoriety that the Lego videos are getting. So I know I'm right there with you, Crimson. I'm right there with you. So thank you for your contribution. Very much appreciated. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much, DPD. Let's go. I love and respect you, but I must disagree. That's perfectly fine. It was staged. How do you explain the Secret Service and the military storming through the doors into a Michael Bay production who was filming fake? Well, I mean, there's a ton of angles, so I'm not exactly sure. The one that you're talking about, I know we could talk about probably. Let me see. This is one that I just happened to be on as well. I'll take your message off the screen. I'm sure you're talking about in some regard this one, right? With all the the military going in and stuff. But what you also see in this picture is the cameras that are set up, right? I mean, look at the amount of right here. Look at the amount of media and cameras that are there. I mean, this is all just a setup for people that are, I'm assuming getting people walking in and out of the event, right? So the fact that there's somebody out here filming isn't really weird, right? Isn't like it's not out of the realm of possibility where all the media is they're cordoned off. You can see you can see the black cord here. You can see the black rope, even roping them off as far as being the media section, right? Obviously that the military was going to be on site. I'm sure anytime you have this many people in the government, in the administration in one place, they're going to have different layers. I'm not saying that these layers of security were obviously effective, but they were there, right? You could see that there was, local police, state police, Secret Service. You could see that there was National Guard. You could see that there was SWAT. Like they were there. Whether or not they did a good job, obviously is pretty blatantly no, as far as allowing somebody with a weapon onto the scene. But again, I'm not calling this out. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just explaining, kind of what we were talking about. How do you explain the Secret Service and the military storming through the doors straight into a Michael Bay production who was filming? And now I'm not sure if you're talking about this specifically or, some other aspect or angle or this in the end of it. Are you talking about this one? Are you talking about this angle at the end of it? How you can kind of see through the doors? But again, this is still the same person filming, right? Don't really get much from that. If it was like a production, that's another thing. Like there was no huge moment, right? Like again, the moment where Donald Trump's out with blood on his face, fight with the fucking flag being lowered behind him and the camera, the photographers being ushered into the perfect spot for the picture. You know what I mean? And again, that's one piece of the puzzle. I'm not saying that is like the only thing that I'm hanging my hat on as far as what my opinion is, but that's one aspect. There's no like real theatrical fucking moment that that these people would desperately try to take advantage of if they were involved in this, alleged staged event, as people are speculating and talking about now. But as far as your question, DPD, that's like, again, without knowing exactly what you're referencing, that's kind of the best of my explanation on that one. If there's more to it, if that's if there's a different clip or a different angle that you're talking about, more than happy to continue to give you my viewpoint as far as that's concerned. But I really do appreciate your contribution. And again, no problem with you guys disagreeing with me whatsoever. I love you. If not more, if not just as much, a little bit more that you guys, call me out, disagree with me, tell me when I'm wrong. I love that. I don't want to build this culty bullshit groupie following kind of community where nobody can ever say that I'm wrong, nobody ever can talk bad about the person that's that's hosting the show. That's not what I want to do with our community. That's not the instruction that we've been given the mods for the entirety of the show, the time that we've been doing this show. And hopefully that's not the the gist of the feeling that you guys get, that you all just have to agree with me or not call me out or tell me when I'm lying, not lying, but when I'm wrong and way off base. No problem with it. Love you even more for doing it. So appreciate you, DPD, for the $20 contribution. Absolutely, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. And hopefully I answered a little bit of that to the best of my ability, again, without knowing exactly what Michael Bay production you're speaking of, or like who was filming. Hopefully I'm getting it somewhat correct. But thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And always good to have you here. Great to have you contributing. Great to have you questioning as well. So thank you so much to Wayno as well for 21 months. Let's fucking go. What a handsome bastard you are. What an absolutely, I don't know. I'm running out of adjectives, you guys. I'm running out of adjectives. But you're a saint, Wayno. You're a saint. You're an absolute saint. Can't thank you enough. Always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for your kind contributions and your generosity over the years, which it has been. I know it says 21 months, but I feel like we've known each other well longer than that, Wayno. Let's be real, all right? Let's be real. But don't tell anybody. Don't. Just kidding. No, I appreciate you, Wayno. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to Miguel. Thanks for what you do, says Miguel. Very much appreciate that. Miguel, thank you so much for the $10 contribution. Very, very kind of you. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity here. Thank you so much for watching the show. And like I said, hope you have a great weekend. Very, very kind of you. And we very, very much appreciate it. So thank you, Miguel. Thank you to Sinful Solutions. Good to see you. Thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. Very much appreciated. Always good to see you in the chat. Always good to see Masha in the chat as well. Masha. Thank you, Masha. Appreciate you. Thank you for the buck going right in the bust a buck and try your luck going in the swear jar there, Masha. Appreciate you, dear. Thank you so much to Mom Smooches. Right back at you, Moms. 18 months of smooches there for you. All righty. Appreciate that. And the tithing for the week, $5. Moms, you are fantastic. Can't thank you enough. Very, very much appreciate you and everything that you've continuously done for this channel, for me, for the community, at the Zooms, the whole 9 yards. You're fantastic, and everybody knows it. So we very much appreciate you here. Moms, thank you so much to Jim, one of the OGs here. Thank you, Boston Brian, for try that one again. Thanks, Boston Brian, for providing a place to get car advice from the peeps here. And thanks for all that you do. God damn it. Oh my God, I'm reading like Benny Johnson today. What is happening? What is happening? I feel like Benny Johnson and Tim Pool had a baby, and I'm just the moron. Can't read. Thanks, Boston Brian, for providing a place to get car advice from the peeps here. What? Maybe that's what was throwing me off. Car advice? Well, I guess, it's a whole community. So I'm sure you can get all types of advice in there, Jim. And then he says, and thanks you all for the feedback. Oh, for crying out loud. I don't think you could have made that more difficult to read. I don't know if you could have, but I do love you, brother. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, Jesus. Thank you, Jenny Faye, for your $5 contribution. Hopefully this is a little bit easier to read. There we go. Believe nothing but your own eyes. Thanks for a great show, Brian, and marvelous mods. Hugs to you all. YouTube pops. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much, Jenny Faye. Very much appreciate you for making that a little bit more legible. We do appreciate you, and make sure you're giving that beautiful pup a treat for me. All right, thank you for rounding it out today. And yeah, you know what? I think that's good advice too, Jenny Faye. Believe nothing but your own eyes. Like I said, I'm not going to try to sway you guys in what you believe. I'm not going to try to change your minds. If you guys are adamant about something, I'm not going to say that you can't question, something that absolutely has aspects that are worth questioning whatsoever. Like I said, I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you kind of what I believe. And again, whether that's popular or unpopular, I don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? Because I know you guys respect it. I know you guys appreciate somebody that's telling you, the honest truth, that's not bullshitting you, that's not trying to, feed you a line or some agenda or some rhetoric or play a part for the show. That's not what we're here to do. That's not what I'm built for, and that's just not what you're going to get here. So again, I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. I appreciate your respect of the difference of opinions, and I appreciate and respect yours. So no reason why we can't go on being best friends, right? So thank you guys. Sorry that I'm way over, but I just wanted to dive into all of the different details, all of the different things to cover. And if you have further information, further insight, things that we could go back and forth in the chat, or go back and forth in the comments, something that you may utilize to kind of confirm your suspicions or confirm your theories, or at least kind of advance those theories, let me know. Because like I said, I'm not against hearing all of the information, all of the things from different sides, different opinions, different people, and then kind of putting it together at the end. But based off of the information that we've heard, the videos that we've seen, everything that we've gotten to go off of so far, I'm just not in the category of being, able to say that this was definitely one of the Butler, Pennsylvania staged events that Donald Trump and his crew is, already known for. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to the mods. I'm sure you had a hell of a time in there today. So thank you for keeping that chat a safe place. Thank you for everybody on Facebook. Thank you to YouTube. Thank you to Twitch. Thank you to Instagram. And thank you to anybody that watches on Substack. I got to say, I'll be very honest, because, that's what we were just talking about, honesty. I don't know if a single person has yet to watch on Substack. I'll be quite frank. I don't know. Maybe they have. Maybe they haven't. I'm not sure. Could be a total, complete waste of time. But if you're watching on Substack, leave a comment on one of the other Substacks that I've left. Let me know that you are watching live, so that it's not a complete and total waste of time. That would be fantastic. But yeah, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. And I will see you. Maybe what's tomorrow? Monday. Maybe I'll actually get through a day tomorrow where this administration won't totally fuck something else up, which makes us have to sift through the news and dive through it every single second of the day. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know. I'm out of here. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to everybody else. And then tomorrow we got our Zooms as well. We got our Patreon Zooms tomorrow as well as this. Here we go right here. So the 27th going to be for anybody signed up at the VIP level at patreon.com/Boston Brian. We're going to have from now on 4 of those every single Monday. Well, no, 4 of those are going to be on Mondays, depending on what days they, how many days in the month there are. So this April was the 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th. And then we got our May calendar to go up as soon as we are done with tomorrow night Zoom. So anybody signed up at the VIP level, anybody signed up at any level on the Patreon gets access to one or more of these Zooms that we do every single month. So check that out. Obviously, you get different perks, different actions, different reasons to sign up at the Patreon. Some great tiers on there. Let's fucking go. It just keeps getting better on the VIP. Obviously, be checking out the Discord as well. Boston Brian's Discord server, where you guys can continue the conversation. Different reasons, different perks, different actions. Different reasons to get involved. Here's the perks here. We got some stickers for you, some tote bags for people that are signing up. We're also going to be reaching out to people that have been signed up for a little bit now, that, kind of maybe had fallen by the wayside as far as those perks were concerned, so we can get everybody up to speed, make sure everybody's on the level playing field, because we're doing the revamping. We're trying to rework that. We're going to keep on top of that as best as possible. And then if you could check out bostonbrian.com, check out the merch site. Here's just a little taste, a small fraction of the designs that we have on there. Let them know where you stand on the right side of history, especially as we're going into midterm elections. Start the conversations, get people on the right side. Let them know that you're in the opposition. Let them know that you're in the resistance. Just be proud, be loud, be proud. Share it out there. Share the show if you can. Very much appreciate all of the help and the support that you guys have shown us along the way here. And again, one big thank you to the mods. Love you. Appreciate you. And I will see you hopefully Tuesday, unless something ridiculous happens and we have to pop back on tomorrow for some more breaking news alerts and coverage. Then we'll be right here giving it to you. So hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Again, I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, and I will see you Tuesday. Tuesday, we'll see you. Okay. Later, guys. Hit that like button on the way out. Very much appreciate it for everything that you guys do.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
We're inviting Americans from all across the country to come.
Here's a thought. Grow a sack, fill it with some balls.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. God bless the United States. Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real?
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
To officially name the undisputed. When did this come out?
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it very well. I've become an expert on guns.
Army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys. But it was too late.
We are a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk. Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
Oh, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're
standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.